Here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's as the neighborhood bar and restaurant to catch the next Preds game. Jasper's is located on West End Avenue and offers a fun atmosphere with a game room, TVs, and a large bar and lounge area. Plus, they offer free parking. That's right, free parking on West End, and offer specials for every Preds game day, including $10 smash burgers and $3 bottle domestics. So come on down to Jasper's next game day for happy hour every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m. and 2-for-1 beers all day on Sundays. Just tell them that Robbie Stanley sent you.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics has been serving Wilson County for over 12 years to ensure safety of both their patients and staff. They are strictly adhering to CDC and OSHA guidelines. They're located where you live and work, just off South Hartman Drive in Lebanon, focusing on general orthopedics, sports medicine trauma, and arthroscopic of the hip, shoulder, foot, and ankle. When experience matters, trust the #1 orthopedic clinic in Wilson County. For more info or to book an appointment, visit tn.houston.com.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am Hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN,
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. I hate doing this on the air, but I'm going to. Ian, do we sound okay?
Sound fine to me.
Okay, because there's a little button that was pressed the last 2 days that's not pressed on this little board, so I don't know. It's a new board, so I don't know
Fancy.
if
Sounding good
Amazon.
to me. Yeah.
But I guess I just wanted to make sure. You know, I never, like, I'm telling you, so we switched out equipment the other day. Chase came over and moved out equipment for us to, the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Moved around some equipment or whatever, basically to make it easier to do certain things with SiriusXM. And so we got this new board, and there's so many little knobs on it. I don't know what any of them do.
I don't even want to know what they do. Just tell me what not to do, and I'm good with that.
No. That's how I am.
Yeah.
Just give me like the small little schmeal or whatever. But I mean, so I saw that I hadn't, I didn't press those things in, so I didn't know if it was working or not. But I guess it is. I want to start with this today. So we talked about it yesterday. John Robinson, Mike Vrabel get contract extensions. And I got to tell you, I have mixed feelings. Somebody asked me today at the gym. They said, what do you think about Robinson and Vrabel getting contract extensions? And I was like, what am I supposed to think? Like, how much money? How long? And even then, if you told me, like, let's say Vrabel gets $6 million a year to coach, right? Mm-hmm. Is that good or bad?
I don't know. Depends on what you consider good and bad, and depends on what you think the outcome of the season was.
Well, I think more so, like, what are the other coaches making?
That's fair. What's the market?
Like, if Mike Tomlin, let's think, Belichick's probably the highest paid coach, but take him out because he's won so much. If Mike Tomlin is making $5 million and Vrabel gets $6 million, that might be a little pricey. But if Mike Tomlin gets $9 million and Vrabel gets $5 million, then maybe you're not paying Vrabel enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to feel about this, but I do think this, which is, Vrabel and Robinson aren't going anywhere. We knew that ahead of time, but we really know it now. I think that these are two totally different guys as far as how people view them or how we should view them. And I think about, relative to the Super Bowl. So, do I think you can have a Super Bowl team with Jeffrey Simmons as your star defensive lineman? I think the answer is yes. Can you have a Super Bowl team with A.J. Brown as your number one wide receiver? I think yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you have a Super Bowl team with Ryan Tannehill as your starting quarterback?
No.
Okay. Can you have a Super Bowl team with John Robinson as your general manager? Can you have a Super Bowl team with Mike Vrabel as your coach? I want to start on that. And I could go through some whole spiel about figuring out, but I honestly don't even really want to get into that. But I think there's two separate guys here. There's Vrabel and there's Robinson. Now, I've said Robinson has the sacred cow key on the radio. He's the one guy on this program who will never be on the hot seat. Vrabel can be on the hot seat. But I kind of think Vrabel, without going through the list of coaches, I kind of think Vrabel might be one of the best coaches in the NFL. But I think that, and then I say to myself, well, he did stupidly go for 2 this year in the Bengals game, which I think had a big impact on it. He won't fire the coordinator that everybody, all the fans want to run out of town. When he has a coach that's not getting it done at coordinator, what he just does is he brings somebody else in and then doesn't tell anybody what they do. So I don't know how I'd rate Vrabel's staff. I think it's a total Bobo staff. Just everybody there they just bow down to the feet of Vrabel all the time. But I think Vrabel gets the guys motivated. Vrabel can't win games they should win. We've been over that time and time again. They play a bad team. They don't win. They play a team that is favored, and it's insurmountable, and there's no way this week they can beat this team, and they always win, which I've never figured out. They usually are prepared to play. I felt like last year Vrabel got totally outcoached off the top of my head in one game, and that one game was the Saints game, which they ended up winning. But I thought Vrabel was totally outcoached in that game. Then again, they lost the game to the Patriots, and I thought Vrabel totally outcoached Belichick, who's widely considered the best coach in the history of the NFL. So there's like a lot of good with Vrabel, and then there's some question marks with Vrabel that nobody around here wants to talk about. And that is, in the last 3 playoff games, Vrabel's had some questionable decisions. The going for 2 against the Bengals I thought was stupid, and it blew up in his face. The punting on 3rd or 4th and 2 from like his own 32 or whatever it was last year against the Ravens, in the 4th quarter down by 4. I think all the analytic gurus say it was like the worst decision made in a playoff game in 20 years. And then kind of the way that Andy Reid really took the air out of the ball and took the Titans out of their game plan in the second half of the AFC Championship game. So like those 3 things I think probably do matter. We care about playoff success around here. But again, like I think you can win the Super Bowl with Vrabel. But he does remind me a lot of Jeff Fisher. So like when I was a kid, Jeff Fisher was the coach here.
Mm-hmm.
And see, you don't know this Jeff Fisher because the Jeff Fisher you know is the St. Louis Jeff Fisher that everybody laughs at.
Yes.
Basically, you know Jeff Fisher without Floyd. We knew Jeff Fisher with Floyd, so we had better players.
I know dumpster fire Jeff Fisher.
Okay. So before that, Jeff Fisher, Titans start. They were all 8-8 all these years before they became the Titans. They become the Titans and go right to the Super Bowl. So everybody likes Jeff Fisher. Then they go 13-3. Everybody still likes Jeff Fisher. Then they go 7-9 and they start 1-4. And now it's kind of like, it's Fisher, But he turns around. They're 11-5. And everybody liked Jeff Fisher. Every year, everybody liked Jeff Fisher. And I never totally understood it. But every time that they weren't good, and this was like when the salary cap really blew up on them and they had to reset. Eddie George is gone. Steve McNair's gone. Derek Mason's gone. Frank Wycheck's gone. Samari Roll's gone. All the core players of the original Titans are gone. And they rebuild with Vince Young and all these. And every time that the team wasn't doing well, people would talk about, okay, should they fire Jeff Fisher? And every local media person in Nashville was like, if you fire Jeff Fisher, he will have a job tomorrow. And as a fan, that scared me from wanting to fire Jeff Fisher. Now you know who doesn't listen to this anymore. Me.
Yes.
So is Vrabel like Jeff Fisher? I mean, Jeff Fisher got to the Super Bowl. Jeff Fisher got to the AFC Championship game. Jeff Fisher won divisions. Jeff Fisher, Jeff Fisher, Jeff Fisher. Or do we look at it like how I feel internally, which is I think Vrabel's one of the best coaches in the NFL. Like, honestly, top 5, top 3, top whatever. And Robinson, who had a great 2016 draft and a great 2019 draft and an okay, a bad 2018 draft. So he's had, I think, a bad 2017 draft. The 2017 draft might go down in infamy as one of the worst, least talked about drafts. When you look at who the Titans picked, what they got out of them, and what everybody else picked. Then you had the 2018 draft where they picked 4 players, Evans, Landry, Cruikshank, and Luke Falk. Bad. Then you have the 19 draft, out of the park, grand slam. The 20 draft, which may go down as the single worst number 1 draft pick in the history of the NFL, Isaiah Wilson. And then you have this past year's draft, which may be worse than the 20 draft. So you got some really bad drafts and 2 really good drafts. He had the DeMarco Murray trade, which was a great trade. The Ryan Tannehill trade, which was a good trade. Now the Tannehill extension, different story. But I don't know. Do you think you can win a Super Bowl with these 2 guys? And I would say separate them, Robinson and Vrabel.
I think you absolutely can win a Super Bowl with Mike Vrabel. I think he has that mentality, that kind of Bill Belichick mentality of whatever it takes. And I know that we talked about the culture yesterday, almost kind of joked about it, but it is something that is incredibly important. And I think it's something that Mike Vrabel prioritizes in a good way. And I think that pays off. And you can see that in the locker room. John Robinson, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think that if Mike Vrabel is John Robinson's coach, then yes, because I think John Robinson could be the type of general manager that, he's a solid general manager, get you winning seasons, can hit or miss on the draft. So the difference of that is the coach. If John Robinson has, a below average to average coach, because I think that Mike Vrabel is very much so an above average plus coach. If you get John Robinson, an average to below average coach, what would we be saying about him?
Okay, but I go back to, we all thought Jeff Fisher was a good coach. And then when the general manager that was getting him the players, that was drafting him, Javon Curse and Steve McNair and Eddie George, left, Jeff Fisher was a train wreck. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, again, the bar here is Super Bowl. Like, that's the bar that we talk about consistently is Super Bowl. We don't talk about, they pat themselves on the back too much. And I got to tell you, the Robinson back patting is honestly starting to get on my nerves. Let us do the back patting. Let the media, let the fans, let everybody else do the back patting, and you just go get players. Like, that's starting to rub me the wrong way. But Robinson took the worst team in the NFL, and they were 9-7 his first year. And they were in the playoffs his second year. And he's been to the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years. And in all seriousness, everybody else thought that they should roll with Tannehill. And other than this show, everybody thought they should trade for Julio. And everybody thought that they should extend Tannehill. And so, I mean, they're bad moves, but at the end of the day, like, I'm convinced Vrabel's one of the better coaches in the league. And yet, I don't know. I don't know how people feel about the general manager. I don't know how people feel like, could the general manager be propping up the coach by good players? I mean, I think the least important guy right now in Cincinnati is the coach. And he's in the Super Bowl. So let's take your thoughts on it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Analyze them individually. Robinson, Vrabel, Super Bowl caliber. What do we think? 615-737-1025. And when you go over the coaches, I want to go over this next. It really does open your eyes to Vrabel. First, though, Caroline wants to tell you about Caesars Sportsbook.
Yes, I do. It is time for the Caesars Sportsbook Report. It is here, people. It's Super Bowl week, Super Bowl 56, the Rams and the Bengals. The big game is finally here, so make some big money on it. If you haven't already, make sure to download the Caesars Sportsbook app. And if you use code RADIO300, that is RADIO300, one word. And if you wager exactly $20 for your first bet on the Caesars Sportsbook app, you'll get $300 in free bets, win or lose. That's promo code RADIO300, and you'll get $300 in free bets if you wager exactly $20 for your first bet. Now, there's plenty of money to put on the Super Bowl, all different odds and prop bets. One certain prop bet yesterday, though, so I talked about yesterday how there was a massive bet put on the Bengals scoring exactly 0 points. There was also another massive bet put on the Bengals to win by 31 plus. It was a $1,800 bet at plus 5,500 odds. It would pay out $99,000 if the Bengals win big by at least 31 points. I don't know if it's going to swing that large, but hey, it's your money. And put it on whatever you want, but do it with the Caesars Sportsbook apps. Must be 21 or older. Offer valid in Tennessee and for new users only. First cash wager of $20 only. Paid us 6 bet credits. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Caesars Sportsbook. Download it, people.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jarrett Stillman and company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at MeadTractor.com. That's MeadTractor.com.
Need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt free? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto can do it for you, whether you have a VA loan or a conventional loan. They're helping local homeowners convert their home equity into cash with zero closing costs. Willie Donick here. Listen, your home value is up. Let Loan Pronto tap that equity and get you the cash you need. Pay off high interest loans. Start that home remodeling project. Veteran homeowners are really loving this because with a VA loan, you can tap 100% of your home's equity. That's a ton of cash. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They are doing loans with APRs in the twos. And if you call now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now to see what your options are. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
I'm here at the Big Game Headquarters, Total Wine and More, stocking up for the big celebration. The perfect bourbon, local craft beer.
Forgetting something?
Oh yeah, Cabernet, seltzers.
The day after is Valentine's Day.
Whoa, new game plan.
You got this. Total Wine can help you score the perfect bubbly, too.
Thank you, I would have been.
You sure would have.
Explore your new Total Wine and More in Brentwood.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Number 8.
Number 8, Mike Vrabel. Coach Vrabel is a really good head coach. I think the fact that his quarterback and Ryan Tannehill is holding them back, and he's still able to get the number 1 seed, not having Derrick Henry in the lineup this year. We saw the quarterback issues this past week against Cincinnati. That's why he's at home right now. Once he gets a quarterback, like an Aaron Rodgers, for instance, he will wind up being in the top 4 coaches in the National Football League. Write this down.
There you go. That was Keyshawn Johnson. He will join us, by the way. Keyshawn will get to take his victory lap after he came on a couple weeks ago and proved that he doesn't watch Titans. And then Ryan Tannehill, whom he was bashing the whole time he was on, went out and played the game Ryan Tannehill played. Keyshawn will join us at 3:30. And Keyshawn will get to take his victory lap on this program. He is entitled to that. Now, he says Vrabel's the 8th best coach in the NFL. He says he's top 4. Everybody, and the Titans want to do this. This is how Amy Adams Strunk wants to operate. She wants to operate as head coach and general manager are tied together. You can see it in the way she's acted. When they hired John Robinson and they had Mike Mularkey, they were like, these two guys are going to work together. And even though they were good for 2 years, they got rid of Mike Mularkey, and in came Vrabel, and they kind of tied them together. And it's just like how she decided to put Floyd and Jeff Fisher in the Ring of Honor together. It's like she's putting them together. That's what she's going to do. And yet, I think judging them is very different. Like, for example, Titans had a great team this year.
Uh-huh.
Well, do we give credit to Robinson for that? Because he built it. He drafted Derrick Henry. He drafted A.J. Brown. He drafted Jeffrey Simmons. He drafted Harold Landry. He drafted Kevin Byard. Or do we give credit to Vrabel because they used a record high number of players, and even though they had that death march that we looked at in the middle of the season where it was like, wow, how are they going to win all these games? They ended up winning all of them because Vrabel got them ready to play.
And you can also look at it as Robinson busted on the draft this year, and Vrabel was still able to get this team to the playoffs and still able to have a winning season.
No wide receivers for most of this season. Patchwork on the offensive line. Like those dudes, I mean, I'm sorry. The Titans' offensive line is average, and that's when everybody's in there. No tight end. Guys in and out of the secondary, a below average secondary with guys like Jackrabbit Jenkins, and they had the best record in the AFC. So that's like a check in the column of Vrabel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the quarterback problems? Who do you blame for that?
Oh, I mean, like you could go back on a rabbit hole on this one, but the quarterback problems, like if you put it on Todd Downing, then is that on Vrabel? Is that a demerit on Vrabel?
If it's on the coaching staff,
then it's on Vrabel.
Then it's on Vrabel. So if it's, and this is the question here. If Tannehill was really good, but he had Jonnu Smith and he had Arthur Smith, if it's Arthur Smith, then it's on Vrabel. Which, again, I'm trying to figure out what this quarterback coach does that they have, because now they've got an offensive coordinator and a passing game coordinator.
And also a quarterback's coach.
And the quarterback's coach. And the quarterback's coach has been here the whole time. And Vrabel didn't promote him when LaFleur left. And he didn't promote him when Arthur Smith left. And neither of those two guys took the quarterback coach with him, to where they went. And the quarterback regressed. And Marcus regressed when Vrabel got here. Like, what's this Pat O'Hara do? I don't know. So that would be, on the coaching staff. But then there's an entire country of people that believe Ryan Tannehill sucks and that the Titans never should have invested at the level that they did. And they certainly should not have extended him, which is what we were begging them to not do this summer. And then they did it. And that would be on Robinson. So who do you put it on?
I don't know.
Here's the problem.
I don't know.
Here's the problem. When it comes to Vrabel, my biggest issue with Vrabel is that he can't get them ready to play for teams that aren't very good. Like, he cannot get them ready to play a team that is bad and everybody thinks the Titans should win, and you look at it and you're like, the Texans, the Jets, and they lose. Like, he struggles with that. And now it's starting to happen in the middle of games, too. Pittsburgh, Titans had a nice little lead, put their feet up, fumble the ball, lose the game. Texans, number 1 seed on the line, get a nice little lead, put their feet up, almost lose the game. That's on Vrabel. That has nothing to do with Robinson. But then, the wide receiving core is a mess. They've used 2 high picks. 2 high picks on offensive linemen in the last 2 years. Neither guy can get on the field. That's on Robinson.
Neither of their first-round picks from the last 2 years are on the field.
That's on Robinson. Julio Jones trade, that's on Robinson.
But also, if the Titans, let's say if Caleb Farley wasn't injured, it's not like having a healthy and fresh Caleb Farley on the field stops Vrabel from going for 2 against the Bengals.
No.
It's like there's so many different caveats to this.
I do think Vrabel's in-game coaching is good.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and I don't get mad at the play caller as much as everybody else does. Everybody, and I'd say everybody, Downing, people are giving him the business. I'm not. Do I love the man? Probably not. But I'm not giving him the business in that regard. With Robinson, with Vrabel, it's pretty simple, right? He's been the coach, and they've won a lot of games. So it's hard to sit there and knock Vrabel for little things, though we do that all the time.
I disagree with him going for 2.
The Robinson stuff is wild. The guy's been here for 6 years, and he has not gotten you a franchise quarterback. If you take over a general manager job and you do not get a franchise quarterback in 6 years, 95% of the time you're out because you just don't win enough games.
Mm-hmm.
But so he hasn't done that. The draft classes, again, have not been stellar. 17, Davis and Jackson, woof. Take a look at that 17 draft. Look who else is in there. Like, it is like Pro Bowler, All-Pro, All-Stud, all this, and you took Corey Davis and Adoree Jackson, both of whom did not get second contracts here. Like, that's not good. The Titans have not extended a single first-round pick. Now, they will because Jeffrey Simmons will get an extension. But other than that, Conklin didn't get a second contract. Davis didn't get a second contract. Adoree Jackson didn't get a second contract. Rashaan Evans is not going to get a second contract. Isaiah Wilson's already not on the team, not going to get a second contract. And Caleb Farley has played like 5 downs of football. That's terrible. Yeah. I mean, that is, like, again, 6 years, no franchise quarterback, horrible picks in the first round. That will get you fired.
But.
And yet, they go out there and they draft A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry in the second round. They get Kevin Byard in the third round. They've had nothing but winning seasons since he's been here. I think it's pretty easy to say that Vrabel's a good coach. Robinson's the one that's the question.
Well, it's because every time Robinson does something to sink, he does another thing to help him swim. It's like you bust on the first round in the last 2 years, and then each of those years in which you busted on the first round pick, you make it to the playoffs. Like, it's like every time you have something in the column that's anti-Robinson, there's another thing right on the other side of something that he's done well, something that he's made a positive impact on this football team. So, honestly, with Robinson, I don't know. Vrabel, I have a feeling if there's another general manager that comes in once upon a time when Vrabel's still the coach, it will still be a successful football team.
Oh, no. That if another general manager comes in and is the top decision maker, and I do not want Mike Vrabel to ever have top decision-making power in the organization. I do not want it. Now, these Patriot guys, this is the way that they operate, is they want full control all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I could see, an issue down the road, a la Jeff and Floyd. Mm-hmm. But I do not want Mike Vrabel making decisions that he does not make because he's never been trained to do that.
Oh, I'm not saying Mike Vrabel should make decisions.
No. But you're saying that if they brought in a new general manager, I don't know. I think Vrabel's hard to work with.
Probably so.
Especially when you're his boss. I think Vrabel's hard to work with. And we've heard that. Like, we've heard, snickers about that. And if they get rid of Robinson and they keep Vrabel at some point down the road, don't you think that Vrabel would be more empowered and more arrogant? And that would probably lead to a worse Mike Vrabel and a more, Vrabel hears the noise. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure I like that. So I like Vrabel as the coach. I do. But I don't want Vrabel being chief decision maker, and I'm not sure that he would be able to work with another decision maker. But I could be wrong. 615-737-1025. We'll get to your phones up next on this. Plus, is Vrabel a top 3, top 5, top 10 coach in the NFL? What do we think? 615-737-1025, Stillman and Company, right here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Let me tell everybody out there, 1025 The Game has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Daytona 500 presented by Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Be listening during the 4 p.m. hour today for the cue to call for your chance to qualify to win a pair of tickets to the Daytona 500 on Sunday, February 20th, and access to the Fan Zone. Winner will be announced Friday in the 5 o'clock hour. Be sure to catch the Daytona 500 on 1025 The Game, Nashville's official home for NASCAR.
This is Tanner Janot, and this is Smashville.
And now down the right wing side, Tanner Janot. His shot, he scored! Tanner Janot with a shot!
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 1025 The Game.
Joe Rexrode here to let you know FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, and there's a way to celebrate. New customers, you can bet $5, you can win $280 in cash on either team to win when you use promo code Joe102 when registering for FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right, you get your winnings in cold hard cash, better than free bets, and there's no better place to bet Super Bowl 56 than FanDuel Sportsbook. You got all kinds of promotions for new and existing customers, same game parlays, small bet, big wins, tons of Super Bowl props and more.
Don't miss your chance. Turn $5 into $280 in cash. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use promo code Joe102. Make every moment more this Super Bowl. Personally, I'll give you my take on this. I like the Rams. Now, granted, I've been betting against the Bengals the whole time, and I've been wrong, but I do like the Rams. Whatever you do, promo code Joe102. Get in on this exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook, and you must be 21 or older in present Tennessee. New users only, $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $280. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Shop today at Social Furniture during their President's Day sale. You'll find everything for your home on sale now. They have same-day delivery for your convenience and pay nothing down today. Use Social Furniture financing plan and pay no interest for 1 full year. For a limited time, they have designer sofas, solid wood bedroom furniture, leather sofas, and sectionals in stock now. They can deliver any size mattress the same day during their President's Day sale going on now through President's Day. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local. Shop social.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Call in to Robbie and Rexroad this week. It's your chance to win a 4-pack of wristbands to the 46th Annual National Wild Turkey Federation Convention at Opryland Resort, February 16th through the 20th. And click on the contest tab at thegamenashville.com for another chance to win.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You said that you're going to be the coach here for a while. Has there been talks about your contract status in the future?
No, I'm under contract, Teresa, and my belief is that I will be here. I want to be here. I want to do the best job that I can for these players that put so much into it. That's just kind of how I felt. You know, I mean, I don't want to be anywhere else, and that's just, you know, kind of how I said it, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows that, you know, this team is, you know, we work hard, and we're going to compete, and we have to improve. You have to improve each and every year, you know, and that's, you know, we're always going to put the team first.
You know, that was Vrabel after the season was over. After the Bengals game, said, I'm going to be the coach for a while around here, and then asked about, oh, no, I just want to do what's best for our players.
I just love it here.
D. Mason's texted me, Derek Mason.
What did he say?
He said Robinson did draft Derrick Henry, which has made Vrabel's job much easier. So here's an interesting element, again, in the Vrabel-Robinson thing. Mike Vrabel didn't draft Derrick Henry. Mike Vrabel didn't draft Kevin Byard. Was not here when those things happened. Like, had nothing to do with it. In fact, Vrabel put Derrick Henry on the bench. He played David Fluellen over Derrick Henry in the Patriot game. He played Deion Lewis for 3/4 of a season over Derrick Henry. Well, that doesn't seem very smart. Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, feels like was the best thing that happened to the Titans offense, maybe ever. He didn't hire him. Now, he elevated him to coordinator, but he didn't hire Arthur. I believe Arthur was on Mike Munchak's first staff. So Arthur was on Munchak's staff. He was on Wisenhunt's staff. He was on Malarkey's staff. He was on Vrabel's staff, gets elevated to coordinator. So he didn't do any of that. And I still remember something. Somebody called and asked the GM one time when he was asking Floyd, said, what would you rather have? The best coaching staff or the best scouting staff? And Floyd said he'd rather have the best scouting staff because he thinks that it's all about the players and that I'd rather them be coached poorly than them stink and be coached well. So I keep throwing that in there in this Robinson-Vrabel discussion about which guy's more important or which guy means more or things like that.
But doesn't it feel like a football sin to poorly coach really talented players?
Yes, that's called the Dallas Cowboys. But but again, I mean, if you can't win,
but who's not in the Super Bowl? The Dallas Cowboys.
But okay, let's go back to coach. You think Zach Taylor's a better coach than Mike Vrabel?
No.
Okay, let's go through this, and then we will get to your phones, I promise, and Chris Sanders will join us too. Better coach. You guys tell me. Ian, you participate too. Just say yes or no. Kingsbury or Vrabel?
Vrabel.
Vrabel.
Arthur Smith.
That's hard.
I'll lean Vrabel for now.
Vrabel.
It's Vrabel, but
Clearly Vrabel.
Also, how much have we seen of Arthur Smith as a head coach?
It's clearly Vrabel. John Harbaugh.
I would say Vrabel.
I'll go Harbaugh.
That's a tricky one. McDermott, Buffalo.
McDermott, probably.
That's pretty close. I might lean slightly Vrabel.
Vrabel has beaten him the last 2 times in a row.
It's true.
Matt Rule in Carolina.
Oh,
easy one.
Vrabel.
Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland.
He's not a bad coach.
They suck this year.
I'll lean Vrabel just a little bit.
And that's another tough thing. Is is the team good?
No,
or is
just,
the coach
just your
good?
gut. Just your gut. No further discussion. Just tell me who it is. McCarthy.
Vrabel.
Well, we're not going to count the new ones. Dan Campbell.
Vrabel.
Here's an interesting one. LaFleur.
Ooh.
That is a tough one.
My gut instinct says LaFleur.
It's Vrabel, right? Ian, tie break.
My gut would probably lean Vrabel, I think.
Oh, it's definitely
just personally.
Definitely Vrabel. Frank Reich.
I'll go Vrabel.
Vrabel.
I go Vrabel too. Andy Reid.
I'll give it to Andy.
I lean Andy Reid.
I'm gonna go Vrabel.
Okay.
I think Andy Reid is an overrated coach. I think he loses his team game. I think he's like, now maybe Vrabel's this way too, but I think that he loses a lot of games for his team, like the one he just lost. Brandon Staley.
Vrabel.
McVay.
I lean McVay.
Probably lean McVay.
I think it's Vrabel.
Why?
Oh, I think McVay's more of a coordinator than he is a coach. You go back to that NFC Championship game.
Is that a bad thing?
Yes. You go back to that NFC Championship game. His challenges were terrible. His timeout usage is horrible. I thought Vrabel absolutely pantsed him when the two coached against each other earlier this season. I think Vrabel's a better coach than McVay. I think McVay's a coordinator, and I think right now, like, I'm leaning Bengals in this game, and I look at McVay as a liability to the Rams, not as a plus for the Rams.
A liability?
Yeah.
That's...
Did you watch Sean McVay coach in the Super Bowl a couple years ago?
Yeah, and it wasn't great.
3 points.
But what game was it?
3 points.
The Super Bowl.
3, yeah, and they got there because of a bad call. Like the worst call in the history of the NFL.
Fully aware of what happened.
Belichick or Vrabel?
Belichick.
I think you have to say Belichick.
Yeah, I don't really think that's a discussion.
But it is concerning. Like, it is concerning that Belichick, without Brady, not very good. Robert Saleh.
Vrabel.
Nick Sirianni.
Vrabel.
Mike Tomlin.
That's a tough one. I lean Tomlin.
Probably lean Tomlin, too.
I think Vrabel's a better coach. Kyle Shanahan.
Shanahan.
I'll go Vrabel.
It's definitely Vrabel.
Why?
Because Shanahan has screwed up every big game he has ever coached in. Every game that comes down to the wire, Shanahan screws up. Like, you got to give Vrabel credit in his career that in some of these close games, he's made some moves that are questionable here or there, but for the most part, other than the Charger game in London a couple years ago, and again, how many big decisions does a coach make during a game? 6? Like 6 major decisions.
Like going for 2,
challenges,
kicking, challenges,
right.
timeouts.
Yes. And Shanahan, that Super Bowl with the Falcons, he screwed that up. The game a couple weeks ago, the NFC Championship game, screwing it up. I'm not a Shanahan guy. I think Shanahan is, again, he's like McVay. And I think ultimately these guys are going to have to make decisions. They've done a great job of taking big decisions out of Zach Taylor's hands. He hasn't had to make them because Mahomes and Tannehill and the defense has allowed them to make the obvious choice. I mean, going back to Andy Reid, what a moron before the half against Kansas City or against Cincinnati to not kick that
Just
field goal.
kick it.
I don't know. Part of me does value a head coach who calls his own plays on offense just for the lack of turnover situation.
Yeah,
I don't know if that matters, but part of me is like, well, he calls his own plays. At least you don't have to worry about changing the play caller on your offensive coordinator if they have a good season every so often, like the Titans are dealing with right now. But other than that, that's the only thing.
Okay, Pete Carroll.
Probably Pete Carroll.
Ian?
That's a tough one.
Pete's gone through the mud the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's been through a lot. He's had some longevity. He's won the Super Bowl.
I'm going to go with Pete.
Yeah.
Pete. Arians or Vrabel?
I go Vrabel.
This is not close.
I would probably lean Vrabel.
Vrabel is a much better coach than Arians.
Because you could say, well, Arians won a Super Bowl. Nope. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl.
Ron Rivera.
Vrabel.
Rivera's a good coach, but I will say I'll probably say Vrabel.
Okay, so through the list that we pretty much went over, like maybe John Harbaugh, maybe Sean McDermott, Belichick. You guys went with Andy Reid, so we have to go with Andy Reid's ahead of Vrabel. Let's see.
Shanahan.
Did Ian go with Shanahan?
I think I lean slightly Vrabel.
Okay.
Oh my God! Yeah, I can't. These offensive guru coaches. 615-737-1025. Ralph has been waiting patiently. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Ralph's going to kick us off. Go ahead, Ralph.
Hey, okay. On John Robertson, I don't know how to decide it because it seems like he make one good pick, then two bad picks. So I don't know how to evaluate that. But on Vrabel, I want to believe he is a good coach, but yet. When you make a playoff, that's when you start to make good decisions on the games, and we just experienced that. And just last couple of weeks ago, there was about at least 3-4 bad decisions on that game. They could make the Titans win that game, so it's hard to decide.
Nope. Thank you for your call, Ralph. I really put Vrabel's bad decision-making in the playoff game at 1. I don't blame Vrabel I blame him for the 2-point conversion. I don't blame Vrabel for the 3rd and 1 where Tannehill didn't give it to Henry and he was supposed to. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame him for the 4th and 1 where they couldn't pick it up. I mean, again, I think they need to be more creative. I think they need to be less obvious in what they're trying to do, but I don't blame Vrabel for that. Like, the Titans should be able to get 1 yard in a crucial game.
But the going for 2 was just awful.
It's stupid.
And I don't say that because they didn't get it. I say it because it was
greedy.
stupid.
It was greedy. So when
don't get cute.
When Brandon Staley kept going for it with the Chargers, it was greedy. Now, he used the analytics as like a reason to back it up of like, oh, the analytics say, the analytics. And you know how I feel about analytics.
You hate them.
Oh, go, analytics. And so I, get him out of here. So, but it's greedy. Like when Andy Reid didn't pull his quarterback off the field in the AFC Championship game, it was greedy. Andy wanted a touchdown, and Patrick wanted a touchdown.
Just kick a field goal.
What happens is you can blame the quarterback because he took responsibility for it, something that I wish the quarterback here would do. But the quarterback takes responsibility because I was supposed to throw it out of the end zone or throw it to someone in the end zone, and I didn't, and it's my fault that I threw it to Tyreek. No, you got to save the player from himself. That's on Andy. And Andy's had a lot of those in his career. And I'm convinced that the best thing going for Andy Reid was that he found his way to the Super Bowl where he had to beat Bill O'Brien and the Texans, Ryan Tannehill, and Jimmy Garoppolo. And if it wasn't for that, Andy probably doesn't. If Andy has to go the way that it was supposed to go going into Week 17, where it's Titans, Brady and Belichick on the road, Baltimore and Lamar Jackson on the road, they probably don't make the Super Bowl. Now, I can't take it away from him because he won it. But again, I just think too often these coaches get too greedy nowadays. I mean, I was watching the Tuck Rule 30 for 30, and it was like a 4th and an inch that led to the drive that the Patriots got where the Tuck Rule happened. They tied the game. And, like, the Raider players were like, oh, we wanted to go for it. I'm like, damn, John Gruden didn't go for it on 4th and an inch? Times have changed in the NFL, and I think it should go back to the way it was which was when in doubt, kick the football for most teams. You got Brady who can sneak it like that, do it. If not, kick it. Save the guy from himself. Chris Sanders, we'll get his thoughts on the Vrabel Robinson extension. We'll get his thoughts on the Boo-hoo Tannehill crew. And Chris, a former Houston Oiler, another former Houston Oiler in defense of Tannehill. So maybe that will make Chris feel better. TriStar Moving, they're our presenting sponsor, and they're my official movers. And I've been telling you guys for a while about TriStar Moving and my most recent experience for what is clearly one of the most annoyingly stressful events. Like most people, I hate moving, but not when I have friends like I do at TriStar Moving. They made the entire process so simple, and that's why their motto is TriStar Movers with 5-star service. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving was a breeze. Everything was taken care of. And they have a brand new state-of-the-art storage facility in Mount Juliet. They do it all. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, are true Nashvillians, and they care about helping their hometown, and that's why their company is on the rise quickly. If you're looking to move, give my friends at TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit their website at nationalmoving.org/radio, where they'll give you 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nationalmoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Sunshine continues this afternoon as we head for a high of 61 degrees, up to 64 for the day on Friday, and then storms will try to make a return on Saturday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Bank of England Mortgage has been helping Americans live the dream of home ownership for over 100 years. Since their humble beginnings in England, Arkansas in 1898, they've grown into a nationwide mortgage lender with 141 offices across 45 states, including 3 convenient locations right here in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at BOE1214.com. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
Men, it's the new year, and maybe it's time to do something new for you. If you're sluggish and run down, not sleeping well, have low libido, and just not feeling like you used to, it's possible you have low testosterone. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you feel like this, and you're like most men with low T, we can get you back on track fast. Low T treatments can truly change your life. Most men experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, improved sleep patterns, and better mental clarity. You'll also likely find that your libido is improved, which can have a very positive effect on your sex life. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T. We're experts in these treatment protocols, and we're extremely proud of the results that our patients have experienced. So if you're feeling down and out this new year, it's time to call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Plungers, assemble. Sometimes even heroes need a hero. It's time to make your biggest splash for our Special Olympics athletes at the Music City Polar Plunge presented by Assurion. Help lift up our Special Olympics champions in 2022 by taking the big plunge at Nissan Stadium Saturday, February 19th. Jump, run, or tiptoe in. You'll be helping us build a better and cooler community for 17,000 plus Special Olympics athletes. Be the hero. Take your big leap for Special Olympics at PolarPlungeTN.com. It'll be the coolest thing you'll do in 2022.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company here on the program. Go ahead and do this now. Enter the Text to Win contest presented by Blood Assurance. Text in the keyword Smashville now to the game text line at 615-737-1025 for your chance to win a 2022 Stadium Series Nashville Predators jersey. Text now Smashville, SMASHVILLE to 615-737-1025 to get qualified to win. So, he is the president of the Boo-hoo Tannehill crew, but we are adding another member to the Boo-hoo Tannehill crew. Add Warren Moon, Jim Wyatt team's website. caught up with Warren Moon at the Super Bowl, and Warren Moon, and we'll get to these quotes at some point here in the future, but Warren Moon all in on Ryan Tannehill, saying, oh, yeah, you can win a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill, which apparently is now the big debate. Can you actually do it with Tannehill? Chris Sanders joins us now, former Titans receiver. Chris, as president of the Boohoo Tannehill crew, what do you make of the last week where the Aaron Rodgers rumors come out?
Yeah.
You were against it last week. John Robinson said repeatedly, over and over and over and over again, he's not going to change the quarterback. We still wonder if he's actually telling the truth. What do you make of the current situation with the Titans?
I mean, I love it because I love it that a GM comes out and say, that's my quarterback. I mean, I understand it may be cliché and he may change his mind later on down the road, but he consistently is coming out. He's our guy, and he's our guy. And I really believe that Tannehill is our guy. And the reason why I say this, because if you start changing quarterback and start changing things, you're one or two players away from making the Super Bowl. You go get a tight end. You go get a slot receiver. You already got a running back in Derrick Henry. You got A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, and you just add a couple of pieces. I think you're just a couple of plays away from making the doggone Super Bowl. So don't go and start changing things and get rid of the quarterback and all these crazy stuff. Because if Trent Dilfer, out of respect, can win a Super Bowl, not being a great quarterback but having a great defense, I believe that Tannehill can do the exact same thing, mister.
So I think Trent Dilfer's a better quarterback than Tannehill.
Stop it.
What's crazy about that?
It is. I mean, look.
Why?
I just think that he's better technique-wise, run-wise, everything that he does, I think he's better than Trent Dilfer. I understand that Trent Dilfer won a championship, but I love what Tannehill does. I understand he had a bad last game and this season was terrible, but I love what Tannehill does, period.
They made the same amount of Pro Bowls. They each made one Pro Bowl. Dilfer started a bunch of seasons in Tampa Bay.
How many winning seasons?
I don't know, but for his career, he was 58 and 55, which is better than Eli Manning. He was 38 and 38 at Tampa in 6 years, which is exactly what Eli Manning can do, which is better than Tannehill was in Miami.
Okay.
I keep struggling. I keep struggling with this, which you keep saying, hey, it's all, and Robinson said the same thing. He, in the Ben Arthur column in the Tennessean, which was, it's a couple plays here and there, and that's what decides it. And the problem that I have is in each of the last two playoff games, Ryan Tannehill has been the reason that you have not made those plays here and there. The interceptions, not seeing wide open receivers, predetermined throws. He's a decade into the league, Chris, and I just don't know how long you can put up with this for.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that the Tennessee Titans would have won 12 games this year with Mariota?
I mean, I think Tannehill won them one game, and I think Tannehill lost them like 3.
Yeah, but you just got to understand. I mean, you got to look at the body of work. Understand in Miami what he did was he had a bad situation. But once he stepped foot here, when he took a 2-4 team that was a disaster, and turn it around and go to the AFC Championship game, you got to do something right. I understand. Listen, this is a world to where it's what have you done for me lately? I understand that, and that's what the world is built on. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to trust the process. And when I say trust the process, everybody just wants to get rid of him, get rid of the quarterback. Yeah, I understand he had a bad game.
Here's my problem with that, though, and I don't disagree that Tannehill came in here and kind of changed the attitude of the team a little bit, but they were 9-7 that season, so it's not like they came in at 2-4 and they did what McNair did in 2002 and went from 1-4 to 11-5, and that's not the same thing. And then they beat the Patriots and they beat the Ravens, but Tannehill didn't even throw for 100 yards in either of those games.
Right.
And he's lost his last 3 playoff games over the last 3 years, in which all 3 teams have put the game on him. And he has thrown the ball to the other team, which you cannot do if you want to have success in the playoffs.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. How in 2020, how many game-winning drives did
Why do I
have?
care about 2020?
No. How many did he have?
I think he had 6.
He had 9. He had absolutely 9.
I don't think that's right.
That's right, 9. He had 9 comeback wins. The last drive to come back and win. I may be wrong, but it's in that vicinity.
Ryan Tannehill had 5 fourth-quarter comebacks and 6 game-winning drives. Hey, I got it right.
Well, okay, let's say 6. But if you have a guy like that's done it before, that means he can do it again, Jared. Because, listen, everybody has a bad season. I understand it. This quarterback should play well one season, then light it up. The next year they struggle, but then they figure out what they did wrong, and they come back the next year even stronger. So if we get that Tannehill back from 2020 to 2019, I'm telling you, I mean, listen, this is a guy that I definitely respect, Derek Mason. Derek Mason is probably, in my opinion, one of the best wide receivers that I've ever seen. What if the Tennessee Titans would have gave up on Derek? We never would have known about Derek. Derek is a special player. He's tough. He's all this stuff. But the point that I'm making is Derek, the team trusts the process of believing in Derek, and Derek is going to become one of the great wide receivers to ever be in this organization.
Yeah, but I feel like Derek Mason is a classic example of what they always say in the NFL, that the cream rises to the top. And
what did
so
you say?
ultimately, the cream rises to the top. And Tannehill's
so
had his
about
chances.
Tannehill?
Tannehill's had his chances, Chris. He's had his chances. Now, here's the crazy thing. Robinson comes out and says, and gets behind him and says, hey, he's our guy. What if Robinson does a 180 5 months from now, trades for Aaron Rodgers, or does something like that? Will the players in the locker room, you're a former player, will they look at Robinson like they can't trust him after the staunch defense he's had of Tannehill, or will everybody just kind of shrug and say this is business in the NFL?
And I'm saying this out of all respect, if J-Rob comes out and he tells everybody that this is our guy, this is who we're going to start the season with, and he changes his mind, number one, I understand it's a business, but number two, I'll never take his word again. Because when somebody gives me their word, I'm going to hang on to it. And I understand it's a business. I understand that, he always talks about that we have to better our team. Understandable. But when you stand up on a chair, when you stand up on the roof and say, this is my guy, I'm tired of y'all asking questions, I'm not going anywhere, this is my guy, and then you change your mind about 4 months ago, I have zero respect. So, and I'm not saying I don't respect, I'm just saying that a man is as good as his word. So I believe that J-Rob is a stand-up guy, and I believe he's going to keep his word, and I believe the start of the season, you're going to see number 17 lead his team to a victory in the first game.
Do you have any feeling, Chris Sanders with us, about what this new passing coordinator is supposed to do or going to do? Because I hear fans get excited about it, and I'm like, you don't even know what the offensive coordinator does or doesn't do anyways.
I don't know what the heck he does. I don't know. Maybe he just the overseer and say, okay, we can do things better, or he dissects defenses better on how to attack them. Maybe it's that. But this is my opinion. I don't know. So they know better than me because they're in that position. But why do you need an offensive coordinator and then a passing coordinator? Because isn't the offensive coordinator the passing coordinator? So basically you're saying that you're not good enough, so I'm going to get somebody to oversee what you're doing. So I don't know what it is. Or is it if you don't start producing better, then we're going to put him in your position. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't know what the heck he does, and that's kind of a tough question to answer. But at the end of the day, they know what they're doing, and I don't.
Chris Sanders with us as always. Chris, appreciate you.
Why are you kicking me off, man? Because you agree with me?
No, because they gave us hard out times, so we have to break at certain times. But honestly, I don't know what the passing game coordinator does.
I don't know either. That's one thing we agree on.
I couldn't give two poops. Chris Sanders, as always, with us. Appreciate you, Chris.
He's out.
Chris Sanders joining us on the program. I mean, hey, go back to the 2020 season when they played Jacksonville, and if that guy shows up for the playoffs against much better teams and much better quarterbacks, then you are going to go to the Super Bowl.
How much of that is just Tannehill of the past?
I mean, let's go through the fourth quarter comeback drives that Tannehill had in 2020.
Well, he's the comeback king, according to Peloton.
According to Peloton. Oh, don't even get me started. Here you go. Fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives. I hate when they freaking do this on the I absolutely hate when they do this on the Football Reference. Denver, they had a fourth quarter comeback drive, did not make the playoffs. Jacksonville, fourth quarter comeback, did not make the playoffs. Minnesota, fourth quarter comeback, did not make the playoffs. Houston, fourth quarter comeback, did not make the playoffs. Baltimore, fourth quarter comeback, did make the playoffs.
Solid.
Now, he ended up blowing the playoff game against Baltimore, but he did have a fourth quarter overtime comeback, so good there. Indianapolis, no fourth quarter comeback. Jacksonville, no fourth quarter comeback. Detroit, no fourth quarter comeback. Houston, fourth quarter comeback, did not make the playoffs. So he had 5 fourth quarter comebacks. One team made the playoffs, and he lost to that team in the playoffs.
But also, is there another element?
Hold that thought. He is what he is. Stillman and Company right here. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game. We'll pick that up on the other side. Plus, my hopes have been crushed as far as the ultimate Titans Plot twist. I'll explain that next. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app, and it's an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56 as the Rams take on the Bengals. To celebrate, new customers can bet $5 to win $280 on either team when you use the promo code JGM when registering. To get your Super Bowl odds boost, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and deposit at least $10 to pick your team. I'm leaning Bengals now. Earlier in the week, I said Rams. Honestly, I'm starting to lean Bengals, and I'll make my pick. Make it on Friday, but I'm starting to lean Cincinnati. There's no better place to bet Super Bowl 56 than the FanDuel Sportsbook, so don't miss your chance to turn $5 into $280. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use the promo code JGM to make every moment more this Super Bowl. Again, that's promo code JGM exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in a designated offer market. Max bonus $280. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Thinking about making a change? You've put in the years and had success, but ready for something more? Well, good news. Little Guys Movers is looking for folks just like you to own and operate their very own Little Guys Movers franchise. From Broadway to Brentwood to Mount Juliet, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com and then make that call.
From curriculum-based literacy programs and sport leagues to college tours and workforce readiness tracks, Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provide a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with Mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live-in-the-moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Keyshawn Johnson in 30 minutes. And if you liked everything Chris Sanders said about Tannehill, I'm going to guess you're not going to hear that from Keyshawn in 30 minutes. But we'll see what Keyshawn has to say. I think this. I think Keyshawn Johnson deserves to take his victory lap on Ryan Tannehill. Because now I think I was talking to somebody about this today. I think I've been the most vocal person in Nashville about getting rid of Ryan Tannehill.
Probably so. I don't listen to every show, but probably so.
I highly doubt that there's anybody else who, too many people around here just drink the team Kool-Aid, honestly. And I'll give,
Two-tone blue, go team go.
I mean, they just drink that Kool-Aid, and it's like, well, nothing you can do about it. Oh, which is exactly how we got stuck with Jeff Fisher for all those years.
But you have a passing game coordinator.
They have that, who might be, as good as Aaron Rodgers, according to some. But, and I'm kidding with that. But, more importantly, like the best case scenario for the Titans, to me, is Tom Brady unretires. After June 1st, Titans trade off Tannehill, and then they sign Brady, and Brady's the quarterback of the Titans. Best case scenario. I am not interested in going out and getting anybody that I don't see as a direct upgrade from Tannehill. So, Kyler Murray, because Kyler, I think, wants a new contract in Arizona and has scrubbed all the Arizona stuff from his Instagram because instead of the sports he does play, baseball and football, he decides to act like a basketball player and
so petty.
Scrubs the Arizona stuff because he wants a new contract. I'm not, even if Kyler were available, I'm not interested in Kyler. I'm also not a Kyler guy. Some people believe in Kyler. I don't. But again, not interested in like a lateral or small upgrade move. And Keyshawn and I got into it about Jimmy Garoppolo and Tannehill. And honestly, I think you could split hairs with these guys. They both stink. So do whatever you want there, especially in big games. Tom Brady's the best case scenario. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is the most likely scenario. And Russell Wilson's right there in the middle. I now am convinced Brady's out. And yesterday I said if Brady wants to return, and most people think those Brady comments essentially said, hey, I'm retired, but I'm not 100% retired, right?
Mm-hmm. He left the door open for the possibility.
Just ajar.
Yeah.
Just wide
I don't
open.
know what I'm going to think in 6 months.
I don't know what the future will say.
Never know.
So we're ruling out Tampa Bay, and we're ruling out New England, and we're ruling out all the places that stink and all the places nobody would want to live, which makes me think San Francisco is probably a possibility. Who knows? And then Tennessee, I think, is too. That's why I said yesterday. Then I was listening to Boston radio, and these guys know Brady better than we do. And I was listening to them, and I heard them bring this up, and I thought, oh, my God. I think Brady is holding out for this spot, and I think he is circling it, and it is not San Francisco, and it is not Tennessee. This is what they said on 98.5 The Sports Hub in Boston.
I think we're missing the team. If he were to come back, I think it's Miami. They're building this new eco mansion, him and Giselle, in Miami. They need a quarterback. Jimmy Stewart has mentioned that there was some kind of issue there with Niners brass and Kyle Shanahan, and it wouldn't work with Brady. Well, now that they have that OC that was with the Niners, new head coach there, new blood, you think that he's going to be telling Brady what to do? I think the Miami Dolphins would be the spot for Tom Brady if he were to come back.
Oh, my God, yes.
Oh, so they can say that he's building a house in Miami and speculate, but we can't?
Well, everybody knows Brady's building a house there. Like, that's not new. Like, we talked about this last week, that Indian Creek, Florida or whatever.
Yeah, like the super fancy area of Florida.
I think they're neighbors to, like, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Like, that's so, for example, Tom Brady and Giselle Bundchen were spotted touring their newly purchased $17 million Miami Beach property over the weekend. Jeez. This was May of 21. So last May, they bought a $17 million Miami Beach property. The A-list couple were joined by pals this is the New York Post, as they walked around the waterfront pad on the exclusive Indian Creek Island, dubbed Miami's billionaire bunker. Brady and Bundchen slapped down the sizable sum just before the new year with plans to demolish the current house and build a state-of-the-art eco-friendly home. It's 2 acres with 200 feet of ocean views. Amenities on the island include a private country club, a golf course, and only 30 bayfront homes, which has its own police force. So that's where Brady and Giselle are living. Like $17 million. It's Miami. I looked up their cap. They got a coach who's not going to tell Brady what to do. Mike McDaniel is not telling Tom Brady what to do.
No.
I looked up their cap situation yesterday. They are $60 million under, which means you can give Tom Brady $20 million. You can go out and sign Devontae Adams. You can bring in Rob Gronkowski. You can do a lot of things with that kind of cheddar. They've got a good defense. They've got an okay offense. There's already Jalen Waddle. If Brady comes, you probably re-sign Gesicki, the tight end, bring in Gronk. Like, that's good enough. Like, they probably have to shore up the offensive line for Brady, but that's good enough. And Brady's the coach. And that's the perfect scenario. And think about the Flores lawsuit. Here's the other clue to the equation. In the Flores lawsuit, Flores alleges that the owner of the Dolphins, Stephen Ross, that he wanted Flores to meet him on his yacht to help tamper with a future prominent free agent quarterback. And then when Flores got there, that prominent free agent quarterback just happened to be at the same arena. Well, we know it's not Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers, I think, is Alabama, California? So he's not going to be in Miami. Brady is very clearly Miami. He's going to live in Miami. So Miami's the team. They've got the cap space. They've got the lack of a coach who will get in the way. They've got a solid squad. They've got an owner who is desperate for a good quarterback. He wanted to tank for Joe Burrow, or he wanted to go get Tom Brady. I can respect that. It's Miami. And so this is probably what it is. It's probably a circle. And, who thinks Tua is going to stand in the way of Tom Brady?
I do not, but, you mentioned the quarterback that you drafted in the first round 2 years ago.
Tua?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I would. I'm just saying. I didn't think of Miami as a team that would be in the market for a quarterback, especially a top dollar.
They tried to trade for Deshaun Watson last year. They were 4 women away from getting Deshaun Watson as their quarterback. The owner said you got to settle all the claims. Watson was going to 18 of the 22 were going to settle. And the 4 didn't. And that's why Watson's not a Dolphin. So last year they were trying. I mean, they were doing it in front of Tua's face. They don't want Tua. So this is it right here. This is it. The owner wants Brady. Brady wants Miami. Brady lives in Miami. So it's like, I'm retired. Wait till Tampa Bay figures out quarterback. Then when they figure out quarterback, I can unretire if Miami's willing to have me. The only thing that would get in the way, and again, if the owner wants Brady, what the owner says rules, but the only thing that could get in the way is if Miami does what the 49ers did a couple years ago, what the Titans did a couple years ago, what the Colts did a couple years ago, which is stupidly think, we'd rather try the other guy out than Tom Brady.
They mentioned San Francisco briefly in that clip. What is the reason why Tom Brady wouldn't go to San Francisco?
Okay, so remember the ego conversation that we had yesterday about coaches with ego, and could Vrabel have a coach with, could Vrabel have a quarterback with a big ego? And you were defiant that there's no way that Mike Vrabel would pass up on a Super Bowl caliber quarterback because of his ego.
Correct.
Okay, so this is what Mike Felger said on the same show. Jimmy Stewart is their producer of this show and has a lot of scoops, especially about the Celtics, which is odd, but has a lot of scoops. This is the story he told about Brady and Shanahan, and I believe it.
Stu heard a great story about what happened with Brady in San Francisco last year. Jimmy Stewart says the story he heard was that when Brady talked with Shanahan and John Lynch last year about joining the Niners, or 2 years ago then, right?
Yeah.
Shanahan was telling Brady what he would need to do during certain situational plays. And Brady started referencing situational plays from the Falcons Super Bowl game. At that point, Shanahan decided Brady was not the right fit for the 49ers. Brady looks at Shanahan as insecure.
There you go. So basically here's the ego play. Again, because we talked about this yesterday. Here's the ego play. So Shanahan tells Tom Brady, hey, we're going to have to do situations differently, here with the 49ers. Here's how we do situations. Brady's thinking, what is this asshat going to tell me about situations? I have a ring because he's so stupid. What is this guy going to tell me? And so Shanahan starts going over situations. Brady, being a smartass, because he's probably a little offended that Kyle Shanahan, of all people, is telling him, situations, and Brady's done it for 20 years, starts referencing how Shanahan blew it on national, on the biggest stage in the Super Bowl.
28-3.
And that, I won the Super Bowl because you're dumb, basically is the way he put it. Shanahan's like, probably not a good fit. Brady's like, that guy's insecure. It's all about the ego.
I mean, it makes sense. And Tom Brady is, if you're going to talk about ego, Tom Brady's got one of the biggest of all of the quarterbacks.
So if he wants to live in that Miami mansion, which I would too if I built it, if they want to live in that Miami mansion, it's probably Dolphins or bust. And so when I say if Brady wants to unretire and you're second on the list, you're honestly probably not on the list because it's probably only Miami.
I don't think I would go as far as to say Miami or bust, but it does make sense that that's where he would end up. I'm not saying that San Francisco, well, I guess same with that story, San Francisco would be out, but I'm not saying the Titans would be completely out. But it sounds like the stars would be aligning more so with Miami.
Okay, we got all your phones to get to, texts and calls, and I've ignored them so far today on the show for the most part, so we'll do that next. 615-737-1025, Keyshawn later this hour. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 1025, The Game.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robbie and Rexo, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 1025 The Game and The Game Nashville app.
Tired of being tracked online? DuckDuckGo can help. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution, and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. The NFL season all comes down to this, Super Bowl 56 with the Rams and the Bengals. To celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up all customers with a risk-free same-game parlay. New and existing customers can place any same-game parlay on 3 legs or more on the Super Bowl, and if you don't win, FanDuel will refund you. Same-game parlays combine multiple bets from the same game into one wager for bigger payouts. Build your parlay with the spreads, money lines, totals, Super Bowl props, and more. You got to go with Odell Beckham as an anytime touchdown scorer, Van Jefferson over total yards, and Joe Burrow over passing yards. Already have an account? Just place your risk-free same-game parlay before the Super Bowl to qualify. New customers can join today with promo code JGM to get 56-1 odds on either team to win the Super Bowl, so you can turn a $5 bet into $280 cash. Promo code JGM. 21 and older in present Tennessee. Refund issues and all withdrawable site credit expires in 7 days. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-89-79.
Now through February 16th, join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness for zero enrollment and only $10 a month. With tons of equipment and free fitness training, it's the perfect place for everybody to work out.
Even me, Mr. I can't sleep at night, so I keep dozing off during the day.
Especially you, Snoozy. You'll rest easier and feel fit-tacular.
Wait, how did you get in here?
Join in club or at planetfitness.com. Zero enrollment, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends February 16th. See club for details.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live in the moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Jackson Hewitt needs you to know 3 things about filing taxes this year. 1, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits on the table. 2, you have to file for them to make sure you get the right amount. 3, a Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help track down every credit you deserve. Tax credits for being a parent, taking care of a parent, going to school, and so much more. You don't want to miss out on thousands. Jackson Hewitt knows that. Discover thousands in tax credits and get your biggest refund guaranteed. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
The National Wild Turkey Federation's 46th Annual Convention and Sports Show is February 16th through the 20th at Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Celebrate a year of conservation success with the National Wild Turkey Federation members, volunteers, and partners. You can expect the same great nightly events, quality entertainment in the watering hole, and the latest gear from more than 350 companies featured in their exhibit hall. For more info, go to nwtf.org.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
You always liked Michael Jordan, and you had that poster on your wall, kind of your standard. He came back. Muhammad Ali came back. Mike Tyson came back. So inevitably, some quarterback's going to get hurt or not perform at the level, and it's going to start in July in training camp. It's going to go again in September and probably again in October and November. How are you going to entertain those thoughts, and would you ever consider that?
I'm just going to take things as they come. I think that's the best way to put it. And I don't think anything never, you never say never. And, at the same time, I know that I feel very good about my decision. So I don't know how it feels 6 months from now. It may change. It most likely won't. But, I try to make the best possible decision I can in the moment, which I did this last week. And again, I think it's not looking to, reverse course. I'm definitely not looking to do that. But in the same time, I think you have to be realistic that you never know what challenges there are going to be in life. And again, I love playing. I'm looking forward to doing things other than playing. That's as honest as I can be with you there, Jim.
Oh, my God, I love it. Brady just, not even a full week he's retired, and he's talking about coming back. And Rob Ninkovich, who was his teammate in New England, was on Get Up on ESPN, and for weeks he's been saying, look, I think I could see Brady retiring after this year, like during the season.
Yeah.
And then they asked him, like, do you think Brady's going to come back? And he's like, I could see it. I'm like, oh, God. Like, and I'm the biggest Brady fan there is out there, since now we're coworkers. But
close personal friends.
No, just coworkers. But even for me, like, it's getting a little too rich. Like the Brett Favre drama, the back and forth, that's a little too much
the
for
pomp
me.
and circumstance of
Plus,
it all.
I don't want to get my hopes up, and I think the Titans are out. I think it's Miami or bust for Brady. $17 million beachfront mansion with only famous people that have their entire 30-home community protected by their own police department. Do you know how much I would love to have that?
Yes, because I would also love to have. Who wouldn't love to have a $17 million mansion in the middle of Miami?
Right on the beach, not in the middle.
Right on the beach.
Right on the beach. And again, I think the Dolphins want him. Let's go to your phone. 615-737-1025. That's all on the table. Keyshawn in 10 minutes. John is going to kick us off. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Thank you for calling Stillman & Company. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hi, it's John. I've listened to your show on and off for the past several years, and you're always spot on. I've agreed with you. Your viewpoint, you're really knowledgeable. But I had to call this one time. I'm a first-time caller, and I'm calling because you're wrong. You're wrong that Tannehill lost that game. Okay? It's Vrabel. Coach Vrabel lost that game. The Titans had the ball with 2 minutes. Okay? They didn't come up with a game plan. It went under 2 minutes to about 1:40, and they still had a timeout or two left. You would know how many. And he was just letting it run. Oh, hurry up. And it was all helter-skelter. And
But you know why? You know why he was doing that, right? Like, you know why they ran the football and why they let the clock run.
What's your opinion?
They didn't trust their quarterback, and they didn't want the other quarterback to have the ball.
Well, you play to win the games. You play to win the game.
But if the guy in front of you is literally crapping his pants like Tannehill was at the beginning and middle of the game, you're not putting the game in his hands. They were hopeful. This is what they were hopeful for. They were hopeful that they could get a couple of big runs and put the Bengals on their heels and, get a 9-yard run, 2nd and 1, put them on their heels, kind of work around here or there, eat the clock, move it down, get it down, have the Bengals use their timeouts, then kick a field goal and go home. But what they didn't want to do is they didn't want to put the ball in Ryan Tannehill's hands. Why? Because they were afraid he was going to – thank you for your call. They were afraid he was going to throw an interception. Why were they afraid he was going to throw an interception? Because he's thrown interceptions all season. He threw an interception on the first play of the game. He threw an interception on the first play of the second half. And guess what? They were right because he threw an interception that cost you the game. They did not want Cincinnati to get the ball back because Cincinnati has a good quarterback, in case you guys haven't noticed. So what they didn't want was they did not want Cincinnati to get the ball back with time for Joe Burrow to go down there and kick a field goal. And that's exactly what happened because Tannehill gave them the ball. There is no way that you can blame Mike Vrabel, in my opinion, for the end of the fourth quarter of the Cincinnati game. Your thoughts?
Well, and I also go back to you and Chris Sanders' conversation about the fourth quarter comebacks. No, the Titans wouldn't have been in that fourth quarter situation when it's coming down to the wire if Ryan Tannehill hadn't thrown 2 more interceptions earlier in the game. Ryan Tannehill wouldn't have needed to come back in the fourth quarter if they wouldn't have gotten. And I don't want to break down every single fourth quarter comeback game and whose fault it was and why they had to come back in the fourth quarter. But that's because they were down, and like fourth quarter comebacks against the Texans isn't necessarily a good place to be in.
No, and they didn't.
And
they didn't
come back.
They didn't come back
Bengals.
in that game, but they did the 2 years prior.
Prior.
The bigger issue though is this, and this is simple mathematics. This is what I would say to the boohoo Tannehill crew who thinks Tannehill didn't cost the Titans a game. The Bengals scored 3 points off of Tannehill's first turnover. The Bengals scored 3 points off of Tannehill's last turnover. The Titans were at the 9-yard line when Tannehill had his second turnover. That's an easily makeable field goal. That's 9 points. You lost by 3. The end. Let's go to Ray, who's up next on Tom Brady's Miami Mansion. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, Jared, I heard you speaking before you mentioned that $17 million mansion about how much you admire Tom Brady. It boils down to one simple thing. You're just simply a moron.
Why? I need a why. This is, hey, you know what?
I mean, wow.
There's a lot of shows where you could say that to the host, and the host would, get all mad and whatever. I just need a why. I'm not disagreeing with the caller's take.
Just an explanation would be nice. I'd like to hear his explanation.
I would, too.
I think we'd all get some good entertainment out of it.
Well, I just want to know what he thinks. I mean, I think he's
he
wrong.
He thinks you're a moron.
But I want to know why.
Well, of course you think he's wrong.
But I want to know why.
I do, too.
I want to know why. And
I'd
I'll
like
say
the
this.
receipts, please.
The dumbest people are the people who think they're smart. And I think I'm smart. So there's a chance that he could be right. What do we have in the text line? 615-737-1025.
Our good friend Indy Ben texts in about the Vrabel and Robinson conversation. Can the Titans win a Super Bowl with Vrabel? Can the Titans win a Super Bowl with Vrabel and Robinson? Indy Ben texts in and says, Vrabel, yes. Robinson, no. If you take away Vrabel and give Robinson a below-average head coach, he doesn't make the playoffs. Vrabel gets the team to rise up.
You can't say that. You cannot say that. Because everybody except for me and Corey Curtis considers Mike Mularkey a below-average coach. That fair to say, Ian?
Well, maybe average.
I mean, I think most people around here, did not have, especially the fans, did not have a lot of respect for Mike Mularkey. And certainly the Titans didn't have a lot of respect for Mike Mularkey for the way that they treated him. Me and Corey Curtis think Mike Mularkey's a good coach. But so John Robinson got to the playoffs and won a playoff game with a coach that everybody considers worse than Vrabel. So you can't say that. Like these beliefs about this is why Robinson is so hard to figure out. The man has not found the Titans a franchise quarterback, and he has not found the Titans even a freaking kicker. But they go to the playoffs, and they win a lot of regular season games, and they have a really solid team, and he fixed the defense after last year, and for the most part, they spend appropriately on free agents. They had an incredible draft in 2019. I mean, there's just a lot of things to like about what John Robinson's done. It's hard to make an argument one way or another. There are cons as far as Robinson's concerned, but I'm not going to sit there and listen to the idea of you take Vrabel out and there's no way he can. No, because he already has. So you can't say that. If you want the other way of, Robinson, it's like you draft Isaiah Wilson in the first round, you draft Dylan Radins in the second round, and you say, well, you can't draft. But then you draft Jeffrey Simmons, A.J. Brown, Nate Davis, Amani Hooker, and David Long Jr. in the same draft, and clearly you can draft. You draft Jack Conklin, Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, all pros. Clearly you can draft. So that's what's hard about Robinson. Keyshawn, he will join us next. He said in the divisional round, Ryan Tannehill was the worst quarterback left in the playoffs. We argued with Keyshawn. We asked Keyshawn if he watched the Titans. He lied to us and said he did, but he was right. Because Tannehill went and stunk up the joint. So we'll get Keyshawn's thoughts on that. And does Keyshawn think the Titans should be in play for Aaron Rodgers? We'll discuss that next. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Saturday night.
Stop by Saros. Poke checked away and taken now by Gronlund.
The Predators return home to battle the Winnipeg Jets.
Getting a win is huge for our team.
Pre-game at 5, face-off at 6 on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Shop today at Social Furniture during their President's Day sale. You'll find everything for your home on sale now. They have same-day delivery for your convenience and pay nothing down today. Use Social Furniture financing plan and pay no interest for 1 full year. For a limited time, they have designer sofas, solid wood bedroom furniture, leather sofas, and sectionals in stock now. They can deliver any size mattress the same day during their President's Day sale going on now through President's Day. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local. Shop social.
Go for a huge score at the big game with BetMGM. Hey, what's up? It's Chase McCabe. Simply download the BetMGM app and place a $10 moneyline wager on pro football's final game. If either team scores a touchdown, you'll win $200 in free bets regardless of your wager's outcome. All you have to do is use the code SB200 when you make your first bet. You'll also earn BetMGM rewards points that you can redeem for room nights and dining at MGM resorts nationwide. Download the BetMGM app and use code SB200 to win $200 if either team scores a TD in the big game. It's only at BetMGM. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at Creation CBD. You hear me talk about them every single day because they present Darren, Donick, and Chase, and we are proud to be associated with them and happy about it. And if you have aches and pains, on your body, whether it's from working out, being active, getting older, and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. Creation CBD. Creation means healing, and that says a lot. Creation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here in Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sale, Creation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use, including your pets. And you've heard me tell this story. Our female German Shepherd has had seizures for over 3 years, and lots of them. No matter how many pills a day she was on, the vet visits, nothing changed. But since putting her on the pet tincture, everything has changed. The seizures have stopped, she's lost weight, and she's a dog again. Right now, Creation CBD has got a special offer for DDC listeners. Go to CreationCompany.com, get 25% off your order by using the code DDC25 at checkout. DDC25 at checkout for 25% off your Creation CBD products. It's Creation CBD, curated for life.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
2 weeks ago on this program, 3 weeks ago, I can't remember how long it was, we had the pleasure of talking with Keyshawn Johnson, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio, former NFL player, and we argued about Ryan Tannehill being the worst player or the worst quarterback left in the NFL playoffs. I argued Garoppolo was worse. Keyshawn stood his ground, and it was a fun-spirited argument. And then Ryan Tannehill went out and was the single worst player in the 2021 NFL playoffs and proved Keyshawn's point for him. And Keyshawn celebrated the following Monday on air about the fact that he was right. And we welcome him back on the program. Keyshawn, thank you for joining us. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio. So, Keyshawn, I'm going to open up the floor to you. This has been the show. We told you when you first came on that we bag on Tannehill all the time. We're the ones that reported Aaron Rodgers buying a house here. And honestly, after the Bengals game, I think it's time for Tannehill to go. The Titans say that he's still their quarterback. Your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill and the Titans?
Well, I don't want to. I'm not here. I didn't call in to brag or do anything like that, or nothing even close. I just simply called in because I told you so. You didn't want to listen. How could he be 8 of 8 out of the playoffs? And I said he's a good quarterback, but when you look at the other 7 guys in front of him, in these situations, I would take him. Now, here's what I would say. I have a lot of respect for Mike Vrabel, both as a player and as a coach. I think he's a dynamic coach. But he made some mistakes in that Cincinnati game, having to force Tannehill into situations that got him in trouble when they elected to go for things and instead of playing it a certain way, taking the points, things of that nature. So a little bit of that loss in Cincinnati goes on Vrabel as well. Now, as far as Tannehill goes, if you can upgrade, then you upgrade. Aaron Rodgers is an upgrade. You reported he bought land.
Yep.
I mentioned and reported, without a report, that the Tennessee Titans, as soon as they lost, and then Green Bay lost, the first thing I said is he needs to go his butt to Tennessee. And everybody started to follow that league across the wave. Once I mentioned on our show, the best place for Aaron Rodgers is not Denver, it's the Tennessee Titans. And then, lo and behold, he wind up buying land in Tennessee. I had no prior knowledge whatsoever at all. I don't talk to Aaron Rodgers, but it is weird that it all happened. And I understand what the Tennessee Titans are saying about Ryan Tannehill today. Well, he's our quarterback today. How many times have we heard that? He's our such and such. He's our da-da-da. I even heard Les Snead say that Jared Goff was their quarterback. And then all of a sudden, when Matthew Stafford became available, Matthew Stafford was their quarterback. So I wouldn't dismiss Aaron Rodgers to the Tennessee Titans. Because if Aaron Rodgers said, I want to play for the Tennessee Titans would be some damn fools not to explore all avenues to try to acquire him. If he said it publicly, they would have egg on their face if they did not pursue it.
Key, what do you think of I'm with you on Rodgers, and I don't even really love Rodgers, but I'm with you on Rodgers. I think the Titans need to look at Rodgers.
Love him?
I don't love I like the guy. You know, the whole going on every week this year to update his status for next year. And I'm not
okay.
a huge...
You don't like his antics and the things that he does off the field.
Yeah, no. Obviously he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. I think the Titans should be looking at Rodgers, Russell, and Brady. I think the Titans are afraid to get out there.
Which Brady?
Well, if Brady's going to unretire, he left the door open with Jim Gray the other day.
Yeah, but that ain't he didn't. That's just talking. Brady is on his way to Brazil or something, man. He ain't thinking about no damn football. Don't listen to Tom. Don't fall for the okie doke.
I'll put him in the list. I think, but in all seriousness, I think the Titans should look at Rodgers and definitely Russell. The problem is, I think the Titans are afraid to show Tannehill that they don't believe in him, because I think they believe that pulling off that kind of trade would be too hard for them to make. As a player, if you were on the Titans after the game Tannehill had against Cincinnati, how would you feel if you felt like the general manager was not going to upgrade after what we saw?
Well, being a player on a team, I have intimate knowledge about why we lost. So I probably would feel different about the loss than the one person at quarterback. Because as a player, I look at the film and I say, damn, if we did this, if we'd have just did that, if we'd have just did this, if he didn't call, if he didn't go for it here. So I look at it differently That's why, even from an analyst standpoint, I can use my player expertise and go into the thought process as a player of why Tennessee can win or lose. So it's a little bit different. You certainly don't want to have a fragile quarterback by flirting with somebody that you can't get when you have that quarterback under contract. But when I'm acquiring Aaron Rodgers, I'm not asking him to carry the load, because carrying the load does not win you Super Bowls. What wins you Super Bowls is efficiency and no turnovers, things like that. That's what you need. You need a quarterback they need to reshape their secondary a little bit, get it better. Maybe it grooms, gets a little older. The front is fine. Everything else is fine. Running game, they got two great backs. I mean, everything else is fine. They got receivers. They're good as far as that goes. But they need a quarterback that can make 4 to 5 throws a game that is the difference in the game. And that's what the Rams did. The Rams upgraded to a quarterback they felt could make 3 or 4 throws a game that was the difference in the game. He could still make all the other same throws that he would normally make, but then there's those 3 or 4. There's the Cooper Cup down the middle on blitz coverage, linebacker staring him right in the face, getting ready to knock him out. He steps into the throw. He slices the cup, field goal range, let's go home. That's the throw that Aaron Rodgers could make. I don't know that Ryan Tannehill makes that throw for you. At the end of the game, the interception on the botch, the bobble ball, Aaron Rodgers may not make that throw. He instead throws to somebody else that's clear open and doesn't have people around him. That's the throw that you're looking for in a quarterback. So just because you get Rodgers don't mean you want to throw him 50 times a game.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that would mean that Julio Jones and A.J. Brown are back, but they really are thin at wide receiver? Derrick Henry's back. What would it mean if they upgraded at quarterback, how much their offense would have to change?
The offense, I don't want the offense to change. I want the offense to stay the same. But, again, there's 4 to 5 throws a game. That's the difference in the game that I need my quarterback to make. I still can run the football. I still could hit Julio, who probably becomes a better receiver with a quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers. And A.J. Brown continues to grow in his position. And then you grab a guy, maybe a second or third guy, that a third or fourth guy that's capable of making plays when those 2 others are being covered or something like that. And that's how you do things.
Keyshawn Johnson's with us. Key, you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to tell Green Bay, I want out of here, and force his way out of there, or do you think Green Bay can convince Aaron to come back?
To be honest with you, I have no idea. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, I want him back. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I decide that I want to tell him I don't want to be back, then they're going to let him go as long as they get the compensation. Because if they don't and he plays, they get nothing that next year. So it wouldn't be smart to let him walk. It wouldn't be smart. So you might as well, if he asks for a trade, you might as well trade him.
If the Titans were to get him or Russell Wilson, how would they be favorites for the Super Bowl next year? Would they be up there? How would you view them differently than if they run back the same group with Tannehill?
Aaron Rodgers will probably kick them over the top. Russell Wilson and Tannehill will probably keep them right around the same.
Interesting. So you don't think there's that much of an upgrade from Tannehill to Russ?
There's an upgrade, but that's why I said pretty much the same. There's an upgrade, but I don't think it's Rodgers to Tannehill. I think because Russell Wilson has the ability to make a few of those throws at times, I would like to see him in the similar situation that he was in when they went to the Super Bowls, where the defense was really the key. And he made a few throws here and there to the Doug Baldwins of the world and different guys like that. When Russell Wilson became the focal point of the Seattle's offense, they can't get to the NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl. When they went to those 2 Super Bowls, they did not go on the back of Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. They went on the backs of that defense in a hard running game. Then they decided that they were going to change their philosophy on offense, and they pretty much, win a division, go to a playoffs, and go home.
Key, how much should the Titans look at the Rams and what they did last year and say, hey, that could be them? Knowing how close they were to beating the Bengals, knowing how they should have if they had better quarterback play, and then seeing that the Rams literally bit the bullet on a bad contract, got out of it, got a quarterback, and are in the Super Bowl. How much should the Titans look at this game as kind of what they should be aspiring to do?
It's a little bit of a different circumstance because one guy's an offensive coach in Sean McVay. The other guy in Vrabel's a defensive-minded coach. So they come into it with different philosophies. Todd Downing is the offensive coordinator, but is he a pass-happy offensive coordinator? Because Sean McVay is a little more pass-happy. Mm-hmm. And he looked at Jared Goff enough to say, you know what, this just ain't it. Where Vrabel's mindset is, I won Super Bowls with a young Tom Brady that did what I'm trying to get Ryan Tannehill to do. And we won on defense, and we ran the football. I think we can do that, and that may be his thought process and his philosophy, if that makes any sense to you, opposed to Sean McVay, who looked at Jared Goff and said, oh, no, this guy's going to get me fired.
Yep. Key, what do you think about Julio? 33 years old. He's got hamstring issues that have cropped up over the last 2 years. He's got a lot of money coming to him. Do you think that there's still potential for him to explode with A.J. Brown, or do you think at 33 that may be in the rearview mirror?
Well, when they acquired him, I tried to tell everybody, I said, man, y'all not getting ready to get Julio Jones from 7 years ago. Y'all getting ready to get a guy who can make plays for you. And if he's healthy, he's still pretty good. And that's what you get. And I think he's still pretty good to make plays for you. The numbers might be big, and they've got to figure out how to work those numbers out and go to him and maybe ask him to move some stuff around and do some of that to help him with cap relief. But I think he's still a pretty good football player. It's a transition year is really tough for receivers in their first year. It really is. It just, you got to learn the whole environment, the quarterback. You just got to learn everything. I think this year, depending on who the quarterback is, he could have a really good bounce-back year.
Keyshawn Johnson, as always, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio. You can hear it on ESPN 94.9 here in town. Keyshawn, I always love having you on, especially to give you the opportunity to take your victory lap, which you were gracious in doing so. Appreciate talking to you. Enjoy the game this weekend.
Hey, just remember, whenever I list something, don't ever question it. Just go with it.
Oh.
Spicy.
Interesting. Appreciate you, Key.
All right, bye.
See you. Keyshawn Johnson joining us on the program. We'll react to that next. A lot of things Keyshawn said, and I got to tell you, these guys that do all the, it's Super Bowl week, so ESPN's going to have their guys do a lot of, interviews. We've turned some down from ESPN guys that we didn't really want to talk to. When they asked us if we wanted to talk to Keyshawn, I was like, yes, we want to talk to Keyshawn. And apparently Keyshawn wanted to talk to us. I think that's why Keyshawn wanted to talk to us. 615-737-1025, Stillman & Company. We'll react to it next. Get your reaction as well. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Sunshine continues this afternoon as we head for a high of 61 degrees, up to 64 for the day on Friday, and then storms will try to make a return on Saturday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Shop the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm and save up to $500. Plus, you can get an adjustable base. That's a $499 value for free with select purchases.
When purchasing your next vehicle, it's nice to know that you can deal with a locally owned dealership like Payne Chevrolet that has been in the same family for over 96 years. Home of the lifetime powertrain warranty on new and pre-owned vehicles, Payne Chevrolet also makes it easy to shop. You can literally go to PayneChevrolet.com, point, click, and drive away in your new or pre-owned vehicle. Check out Payne Chevrolet in Springfield on Memorial Boulevard or go to PayneChevrolet.com. Payne Chevrolet, 9 decades, 4 generations, and 1 tradition.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe here to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Dr. Rice, listen, we all have cavities, but what's the best way to try and keep them from happening?
Cavities are like any other health condition. You don't really know you have one until it gets bad. Recently, I saw a patient for treatment that they had been putting off. Something that could have been simple to fix 6 months ago turned out to need a root canal and a crown. Postponing treatment costs more and takes time away from work.
Nobody wants a root canal, so you're right. Regular checkups are very important.
Well, we do things differently. I want to let people know that if they're afraid of pain or worried about the cost, they are not alone. Don't be embarrassed. We understand. Give us a call at 615-373-4488. That's KellyERice.com.
Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. If you don't have dental insurance, no problem. Be sure to join their membership club. Just visit KellyERice.com or call 615-373-4488 now to schedule your cleaning and checkup. You'll certainly be glad you did.
Mark Howard here to tell you about my friends at Apple Collision Centers. We all know being in a collision is not fun. Neither is all the stress that comes with it, and that's where Apple Collision comes in. Let them take care of everything for you. That's insurance, repair, and your rental details. They've got 3 convenient locations in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Their managers, Tommy Rippey, Daniel Neville, and Chris Brooks and Marty Denson, combined for over 75 years experience. So stop in today and tell them Mark sent you. Online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Hola, Carla speaking. Carla's roofing company always goes above and beyond. Yeah, we heard about next week's forecast. She needs a new foreman to weather a storm of projects. You mean another full crew before Wednesday? Mira, Jose, can you work Wednesday? Indeed can help her hire great people fast. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year 1?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company here on Super Bowl week. Keyshawn Johnson just joining us. And I got to say this. You can sit there through all of Keyshawn's list this year in which he has crapped on Tannehill all year. And you can be like, I don't care what Keyshawn says. We brought Keyshawn on the show. He defended his list, even though we kind of made fun of him. He defended his list before the Bengals game. It's only fair for Keyshawn to get to come on the show and say, I told you so, which is how he opened his return to our program.
And I bought it whenever he first came on the show and said, yeah, I didn't come on here to brag, but...
You bought it? Oh, I saw this coming.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, my God. Ian,
I didn't.
Ian, did you see it coming?
Well, I had the, opportunity to answer the phone when he called in, so
yes.
He was in a playful mood from the start.
I mean, honestly, my gut is they told Keyshawn, like, hey, we need you to call these 4 cities. And it's like, Baltimore, Phoenix.
Nashville.
I'm
calling
clown
Nashville.
These freaking people. And he did, and he should have, and he was correct. Now, the thing that stood out to me from Keyshawn, he's all in on if Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay, you have to go try to get him, which I agree with. And I don't even like Aaron.
Mm.
He doesn't think Russell's that much of an upgrade. He thinks Brady's retiring. So, under that logic, is it really Aaron or bust as far as upgrading at quarterback? Everybody else, is Kyler Murray a better quarterback? And again, I don't think Kyler's going to be traded. I think this is all just drama and gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Is Kyler Murray a better quarterback than Tannehill? Probably. But he's not 2 first-round picks better than Tannehill. Aaron is. Is it Aaron or bust for the offseason? Is it Aaron or hopefully they like one of these quarterbacks enough to draft and to sit on the bench, and then if Tannehill's stinking it up, put that kid in the game?
Depends on if you agree with Keyshawn and what he said about Russell Wilson, that he wasn't necessarily much of an upgrade.
Well, what do you think of that?
I think that Russell Wilson is very much so an upgrade.
How?
I think that he is a better quarterback. I think that he has a better arm. I think he has better accuracy. Now, The one thing that Tannehill can do that Russell Wilson also can do is they're both pretty quick.
They
can both run.
I just think Tannehill plays scared.
I think Russell Wilson has a better arm. I think that he has a really great command of his team. And everyone talks about how Ryan Tannehill's the best leader that they've ever experienced their whole entire life.
See, I'm not sure Russell does have great command.
Why?
Because Russell, as soon as everybody he was a passenger in their Super Bowl team and in the team the next year. Like, he was good, but he was a passenger. Like Marshawn Lynch, that Legion of Boom defense, Bobby Wagner, Irvin the pass rusher, like those guys were the drivers, and Russell was there. And Russell did his job, but Russell was there. Since all those guys have left, Seattle has not been back to the NFC title game. They have gotten...
And he is coming off of an injury.
Wild card and divisional round, and this year I throw that away because he was hurt. But, I mean, Russell definitely has not... it's not like Drew Brees, who played at a high level, won a Super Bowl, and then continued to play at a high level no matter how bad his team around him was or everything else. Russell, certainly the team performance has gone down, and I think some of that is because Russell does need a running game. Russell does need some help, but the Titans have that.
And that's exactly what I was going to counter with, was they could win a Super Bowl with Marshawn Lynch. Well, you have Derrick Henry here. And I don't want to rest too many of our laurels on Derrick Henry because we don't know when the expiration date of Derrick Henry is going to be.
Could be now.
Could be now. We don't know. But I think the thing with Russell Wilson was, you say he was a passenger. Well, at least he wasn't the one who was throwing the ball away.
No, see, here's the thing about Tannehill that people have a hard time with. And this is separating, like, reality from, like, pigeonholing, right? Mm-hmm. People, I think, pigeonhole Tannehill as... he's a game manager, and so you can get far with a game manager, but you can't beat a Joe Burrow with a game manager. Except that they had Joe Burrow beat as long as he didn't just throw the ball to the other team.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't that Tannehill didn't do anything spectacular to win you the Bengals game. It's that he did everything in his power to lose you the Bengals game. He stared down receivers. He threw to guys who were covered. He was not accurate the entire night, including passes that he completed. He missed a deep ball to A.J. Brown. He threw 3 interceptions. He didn't make the right read on the 3rd and 1 RPO where he decided to keep it. I mean, he literally did everything in his power to lose the game. That's why I still believe, and I said it at the time, that I felt like Logan Woodside could have won that game for the Titans. And I've tried to explain this to people because people are like, Logan Woodside! Every game for the last 2 seasons, except for at the Patriots this year when Kevin Hogan was the backup because Logan had COVID. But every game for the last 2 years, they have prepared to go into that game for Tannehill to roll his ankle and Logan Woodside to have to come in and play quarterback for the Titans. If Tannehill breaks his collarbone on the first play of the game, Logan's in at quarterback for the Titans. So for everybody out there that's like, oh, you can't win with Logan Woodside, well, they would have had to. And if that had happened, Logan would not have made the same mistakes Tannehill made.
But also, I understand where you're coming from, where Logan Woodside wouldn't have thrown the ball in the hands of Bengals defenders. But also, would Logan Woodside have thrown that touchdown pass to A.J. Brown?
Probably. It wasn't a great pass. It was an incredible catch.
It was a great catch.
It was not a good pass. Just like how the throw to Jonnu Smith in the Ravens game was not a great pass. It was an incredible catch, but it was not a great pass. And here's the other thing about Tannehill, too. And that is that, again, Logan Woodside, can he throw a ball to A.J. Brown and hit him for a touchdown when it's a breakaway and he's the only one there? I don't know. Tannehill missed. Tannehill threw the ball behind Julio Jones. Tannehill was terrible. He was terrible. And Keyshawn, the one thing, and I don't agree with everything Keyshawn says, and I'm not sure Keyshawn, watches a ton of the Titans, as we, well documented the last time he came on. I think he knows you can't win with Tannehill. And I just need more people to understand that. The Boohoo Tannehill crew, they're mad at Derrick Henry. They're mad at Vrabel. They're mad at everybody except you cannot win with this guy. And, again, the other thing nobody else is talking about that we've talked about is how scared he played. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. There is one key for the Titans if they are to get involved in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, which has not happened yet. But one of Aaron's former teammates thinks it will. We'll discuss that next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
No, you blew it. That's what happened. It didn't slip away. You blew it.
The voice of the fan.
The officials had let that game get out of control before anything got thrown.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. The NFL season all comes down to this: Super Bowl 56 with the Rams and the Bengals. To celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up all customers with a risk-free same-game parlay. New and existing customers can place any same-game parlay on 3 legs or more on the Super Bowl, and if you don't win, FanDuel will refund you. Same-game parlays combine multiple bets from the same game into one wager for bigger payouts. Build your parlay with the spreads, money lines, totals, Super Bowl props, and more. You got to go with Odell Beckham as an anytime touchdown scorer, Van Jefferson over total yards, and Joe Burrow over passing yards. Already have an account? Just place your risk-free same-game parlay before the Super Bowl to qualify. New customers can join today with promo code JGM to get 56-1 odds on either team to win the Super Bowl, so you can turn a $5 bet into $280 cash. Promo code JGM. 21 and older in present Tennessee. Refund issues non-withdrawable site credit expires in 7 days. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-89-979.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department: computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
The National Wild Turkey Federation's 46th Annual Convention and Sports Show is February 16th through the 20th at Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Celebrate a year of conservation success with the National Wild Turkey Federation members, volunteers, and partners. You can expect the same great nightly events, quality entertainment in the watering hole, and the latest gear from more than 350 companies featured in their exhibit hall. For more info, go to nwtf.org.
Hey everybody, Robbie Stanley here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's. Jasper's is a casual restaurant and bar located on West End Avenue, equipped with TVs, a game room available for private events, a grab-and-go market, and free parking. Yes, free parking. This neighborhood spot is Nashville's new go-to restaurant and bar. You can try their selection of elevated bar food ranging from appetizers to chicken sandwiches to flatbread pizzas and the famous Smash Burger, as well as any of their delicious cocktails. So visit my friends at Jasper's, located at 1918 West End Avenue, and tell them that Robbie sent you.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio. So Robbie and Joe yesterday were talking about Aaron Rodgers to the Titans. And I was like, wow, I thought Joe when John Robinson came out over the weekend and said to Ben Arthur and the Tennessean that Ryan's our quarterback, I don't know how many more times I got to say it. I thought that meant that the Rodgers talk was pretty much over. And Joe was like, this means the Rodgers talk is over, right? And then Stephen A. Smith went off on how the Titans need to go get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you wish, Joe.
Oh, my God, I saw that, and I got so excited. Oh, my goodness, I saw it. And so, by the way, did you notice that Keyshawn said, he was like, you reported that he bought the land in Tennessee, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, I reported, not that I heard anything, but that the Titans would be a good spot for him. I want to be like, Keyshawn, that is not.
That's not reporting.
That's not
an
what that word
opinion.
means. But I think it's funny because when somebody says something, we've turned into this weird society where instead of thinking about who said what and why they said it, now people just hear whatever it is. And they think to themselves, oh, I don't want to hear that, then I hate that person. Or, oh, I want to hear that, I like this person. So if, for instance, let's use Clay Travis as an example. Very polarizing figure. Let's say Clay Travis tells you anything and you don't like Clay Travis, and he tells you anything, you're going to not believe it.
Correct.
You're going to be like, I don't believe Clay Travis. I don't think. It's like when I reported the fact that Rodgers bought land, and people were like, everybody in Nashville knows Jared Stillman is always wrong. When's the last time I reported something like that? Like, I don't do that. There's a difference between a fact, he bought land, and like saying, oh, I think the Titans are going to win this week against Cincinnati. Totally different things. So Charles Woodson played with Aaron Rodgers. He's worked for multiple big networks, ESPN. I think he now does work for Fox. And he's played in the league. He's in the Hall of Fame. And he was on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. He won a Super Bowl in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. Now remember, last year when all the Aaron drama started, all of Aaron's ex-teammates started popping up everywhere. Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, Clay Matthews, A.J. Hawk, all the ex-Aaron teammates all started giving their takes, and it really got me when John Kuhn, the fullback, went on CBS Sports Radio. I don't even know where you listen to CBS Sports Radio. And John Kuhn went on CBS Sports Radio to, here's what I think about Aaron. And I'm like, that's Aaron talking to his buddies, telling them the scoop, and then them kind of saying, well, this is what I think, this is what I know, kind of like what Pat McAfee did with A.J. Hawk after we reported the news about Aaron buying land and being open to the Titans. This is what Charles Woodson said on Good Morning Football.
I'm putting on my GM hat, you know what I'm saying? Hey, what are we going to do this next season? And I look at the roster that we have. You know what? I'm thinking about trading Aaron Rodgers and see what I can get in return for him. Maybe I can get a quarterback that can help kind of steady my quarterback room and get some competition for Jordan Love. I'm telling LaFleur, hey, Jordan Love does not leave the building this offseason. We're going to get him prepared to play. Because when I look at the team and this defense, they have a good team. And so they know that they'll be able to go into the next season being able to be solid on that side of the ball and then let the offense catch up.
So I'm not a salary cap expert, but the Packers do not have a good team. They are significantly over the cap. Moving on from Aaron would hurt them even more. Jordan Love, who knows? Devontae Adams, a free agent. The Packers are in for a full-on rebuild, in my opinion, if they let Aaron Rodgers go. But instead of thinking, well, I think that's dumb, so I don't care what Charles Woodson says, or instead of thinking, well, this is what Charles Woodson thinks, I think, did Aaron tell Charles Woodson they should trade me? Because Aaron's been incredibly quiet as far as talking about the Packers after the season. He went on the Pat McAfee show and said, I'm going to have some discussions with my agent and some discussions with the Packers, and we're going to have to do this, and we're going to have to do that. But he hasn't really hinted one way or another. A.J. Hawk was on the Pat McAfee show breaking down our report last week, and they were trying to get out of him, shake coins out of his pockets for information on Aaron Rodgers. And here's Charles Woodson, a Hall of Famer, played with Aaron in Green Bay, who's going on there and saying, they should trade Aaron Rodgers. And I wonder, did it come from Aaron? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it does make sense if you're from an outside perspective and you're looking at Green Bay's current situation. Do you hold on to a massive cap in Aaron Rodgers and potentially, Aaron Rodgers right now is a gold mine, either of talent or if you want to invest in him with picks. Like if Green Bay wants picks and they want a full rebuild, then they can do that, and Aaron Rodgers is the perfect way to do that. Build up your team through the draft.
Is there any way to avoid a full rebuild if you keep Aaron? If you don't, to avoid a full rebuild if you don't keep Aaron?
I know.
So it really
is. Because I think Davante Adams goes with Aaron Rodgers.
It really is if you do this. I think Davante Adams is gone unless they franchise him. Like, I even if they bring Aaron back, I think Davante is going to go get the most money on the market.
So you're going to hold on to your quarterback without his favorite receiver?
I just don't know what you do.
Then it's like you're delaying the inevitable.
Then you got to franchise tag him, and then you got to pay him $18.5 million.
Right. Like Green Bay is in a really sticky situation.
This is, to me, I think Aaron ultimately is going to wait and see what they do, but I think Aaron probably wants out. And this is where
he wants out.
This is where it comes where the Titans are involved. Because Aaron has to go somewhere. And so if Charles Woodson's going to go on there, Aaron holds grudges like there is no tomorrow. Charles Woodson, you saw Charles Woodson in the 30 for 30 with Brady. Mm-hmm. Charles Woodson does not care about making headlines. Charles Woodson probably likes keeping his friends. And he goes on TV and says the Packers should trade Aaron. And if I was, say, Aaron, and I wanted them to trade me, I'd want somebody going on TV and telling everybody why it's a good idea that they should trade me. So that it's not, I'm demanding it, they're holding it up, they don't want to, they don't this. I'm telling you, I think Aaron wants out, and I think it is inevitable that Aaron is going to go to the Packers and tell them that he wants out. And I think that this is foreshadowing at Charles Woodson coming out and saying if he was GM, he would trade Aaron. Now, most general managers and coaches, I can promise you that Matt LaFleur does not like the idea of trading Aaron Rodgers because they're going to lose if they do it, and then he's going to get fired. And so most coaches don't like that. Remember, Jim Caldwell had the Colts in the Super Bowl, and then Peyton Manning got hurt. Then they had the worst record in the league. And then before they drafted Andrew Luck, they fired Jim Caldwell. So Matt LaFleur doesn't want any part of this unless he thinks he can win with Jordan Love. But I think the Packers are going to be in a situation where they may not be able to undo the reality of where they are with Aaron. And I think it is foreshadowing here that if Charles Woodson is saying that Aaron Rodgers should be traded, I wonder if it came with Aaron's blessing.
Maybe so.
But what do you think? You don't think it did?
No.
So you think he's just going on TV talking?
Well, isn't that what they all do?
Yeah, but when's the last time Charles Woodson made a headline?
That's fair. But but also if you take a step back, it just makes sense.
That Green Bay should trade Rodgers?
That a rebuild is inevitable.
Yeah, but GMs, they don't think
like that. And holding on to your quarterback, who you may as well deal now for as many draft picks as you can. And I know GMs don't think like that, but I'm thinking like that. That a rebuild is inevitable. His top receiver is probably on his way out. Your offensive line is most likely going to get blown up. And you're holding on to Aaron Rodgers for what?
Because you can win the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers.
But can you win the Super Bowl without Davante Adams?
Maybe. Tell me the last time that the team won the Super Bowl because they had a superstar wide receiver.
I don't know.
Who's the best wide receiver in the NFL? Take Adams out of it. He's never sniffed the Super Bowl. Who's the second best receiver in the NFL?
You could say DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp.
When's the last time DeAndre Hopkins played the Super Bowl?
I don't think he ever has.
It's like Cooper Kupp had a great year this year. They're in the Super Bowl, and he's a large part of why. But I just don't think that wide receivers get you there. Quarterbacks get you there. Green Bay probably looks at this as, we have no chance without Aaron. We got a chance with Aaron. Well, but if we don't have Aaron, then what are we going to do on the offensive line? You seen Cincinnati's offensive line? Well, if we don't have Aaron, what are we going to do with the bat? We'll figure it out. But we got to have Aaron. And I think a lot of general managers and coaches would think of it like, hey, we have to win this year. with Aaron win the Super Bowl. Aaron leaves, Aaron retires, Aaron whatever, and then we get to keep our jobs because when we're bad, everybody will look at us as, hey, we won the Super Bowl. But the problem with that is, A, those guys still get fired. See Elway and Kubiak. But B, if Jordan Love's not any good and this is his third year in the NFL, then why'd you draft Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Like, he better be ready to play. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Stephen A. responds to Charles Woodson's comments. And again, here's the question. If Aaron goes to the Packers and says, I want out at the end of the month, does that change everything as far as Tannehill and the Titans are concerned? We'll discuss that next, and we'll take your phones. 615-737-1025, Stillman & Company, delivered by TriStar Moving. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game. Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Walk in the footsteps of civil rights heroes and visionaries on the Mississippi Freedom Trail and experience their stories at the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. Learn more at visitmississippi.org/Black History.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Now through February 16th, join a clean and spacious Planet Fitness for zero enrollment and only $10 a month. With tons of equipment and free fitness training, it's the perfect place for everybody to work out.
Even me, Mr. I can't sleep at night, so I keep dozing off during the day.
Especially you, Snoozy. You'll rest easier and feel fit-tacular.
Wait, how did you get in here?
Join in club or at planetfitness.com. Zero enrollment, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends February 16th. See club for details.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Shop today at Social Furniture during their President's Day sale. You'll find everything for your home on sale now. They have same-day delivery for your convenience and pay nothing down today. Use Social Furniture financing plan and pay no interest for 1 full year. For a limited time, they have designer sofas, solid wood bedroom furniture, leather sofas, and sectionals in stock now. They can deliver any size mattress the same day during their President's Day sale going on now through President's Day. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local. Shop social.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Interact with Stillman & Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Everybody knows how I feel about Aaron Rodgers, the Batman. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying about Aaron Rodgers and what losing him is going to cost you. And I'm going to put it as simple and plain as two guys that know football inside and out. Isn't the bottom line that over the 10-year period, 4 trips to a conference championship game, not a single appearance in a Super Bowl, let alone a Super Bowl championship, is something I can get with somebody else? Isn't that something I can ask? I'm not saying that that's definitive. Of course not. This is football. But what I'm saying is that when I think about the value that Aaron Rodgers brings to the table, what I could potentially get for him, combine that with the fact that he's expressed an interest in going elsewhere by how he renegotiated his deal. Combine, Jeff, with what you just said. We all know Charles Woodson didn't just throw that out there.
Nah.
That's his boy. You know what I'm saying? We know that's not an accident.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
So all of those things taken into consideration clearly sends the message. Aaron Rodgers has no problem departing from Green Bay.
There you go. Stephen A. says Green Bay needs to trade Aaron Rodgers. Now, remember, John Robinson said to Ben Arthur, Ryan's our quarterback. I don't know how many times I need to say it. Chris Sanders on our show earlier today said he would be very disappointed, would not be able to trust Robinson if he went back on his word and traded Tannehill. TD reported last Friday that the Titans do not view Aaron Rodgers as an option. But if Aaron goes to the Packers and says, I want to trade, he's got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And Stephen A. saying they should trade him, and Charles Woodson saying they should trade him. And think about this. We already talked about the Brady thing and how we think Brady's going to Miami. Well, I think Brady, if he unretires, Brady's going to Miami. Do you disagree with that?
No, I don't entirely disagree with that. I think it's a very likely scenario if he unretires.
Okay. So now you're looking at a conference where in order to get to the Super Bowl, you got to go through Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers if he goes to Denver, if you don't pick up the phone and call. And you got Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. But
no, there's no but. You lose. You lose.
I don't think that John Robinson views it that way.
Well, then they need to take that contract extension back because they will lose.
Because if he's going to say and double down on Ryan Tannehill and tell TD reports that they have no interest in Aaron Rodgers.
That wasn't the report. It was that they don't view Rodgers as an option.
They don't view Rodgers as an option.
Now, but does that change if Green Bay is looking to trade him? Because right now, Green Bay's not looking to trade Rodgers.
No, it doesn't.
No. And so either John Robinson's lying to all of us, which I wouldn't rule out, or the Titans are going to make a huge mistake. Aaron's going to go to Green Bay, want to trade. You already hear the media explaining, you know what, a trade might be better for the Packers. Here's Stephen A. saying it. And the Titans aren't going to pick up the phone and call Green Bay because they got Ryan Tannehill. And so now your conference has, and you can rank them however you want, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Rodgers, possibly Brady, and let's not rule out that quarterbacks make their biggest jumps in year 2. And that in this same conference, Trevor Lawrence will be entering his second year and finally have perhaps competent coaching. Mac Jones will be going into year 2 in this conference. And Zach Wilson, though I don't see the Jets he'll be going into year 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Ryan Tannehill. So there you go. 615-737-1025. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
One texter texts in and says maybe Aaron Rodgers will go to the 49ers finally.
You think that the Green Bay Packers are going to turn around and trade their quarterback to the team that just beat them in the playoffs?
Probably not.
So
No.
I don't think that's an option. I think that Aaron goes to the AFC. Now, what I don't understand is this like weird narrative that they talk about on ESPN, and I don't hear anybody else talk about this, but it's like this weird narrative on ESPN, which is like, why would Aaron want to go to the AFC? And you've got old crybaby Dan Orlovsky being like, oh, it's so hard with Allen and Mahomes and Burrow. And it's like, dude, these guys do not care about that.
Aaron Rodgers views himself as better than all of those guys.
Those guys, Tom Brady just joined a division that had Drew Brees in it. These guys do not care. Like, I don't know, like LeBron, the Western Conference in basketball. He leaves Cleveland in the Eastern Conference. He goes to the Western Conference where they've got the Golden State Warriors. Like, he does not care about what the path is to a championship. Brady didn't care. Brady's path 2 years ago to winning the title. And we talk about the fact that, look, if the Titans had done it, it would have been hard to have to go through Burrow, Mahomes, and then Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
But it was hard a couple years ago. Brady, Lamar, Mahomes. His path to the Super Bowl was Taylor Heineke, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. These guys don't care. They know in order to get it done, this is the route you have to go. Joe Burrow went Derek Carr, then he got a little bit of a break because it was Ryan Tannehill, and then Patrick. These guys don't care. So, no, he's not going to San Francisco. Plus, they don't have the money, and they don't have the picks. San Francisco's not an option. What's next?
One texter checks in about Russell Wilson and says, Russell Wilson will not lose us the game. There are many similarities to the Seahawks team and the current Titans team. Great defense, top running back. Russell Wilson would definitely be an upgrade.
So I think Russell Wilson's the one that makes the most sense because Russell's cap number is not as big as everybody else's with the money and things like that. Seattle's got the cap space to be able to take Tannehill back in a trade. Tannehill's better than any other quarterback Seattle could have. Seattle doesn't have any picks, so they can get the picks from you as part of the trade. I'm not sure Russell wants to be there anymore. And this team does somewhat mirror what Russell did when they won in Seattle with Marshawn Lynch. They'd have to go get him one more wide receiver who, and it would be hard to do this in the draft because you're not going to have your picks, but they'd have to go get him one more wide receiver that could be like a do-everything guy and a tight end. So you'd be using up a lot of money. You'd have to cut it from defense, which you wouldn't want to do. You probably would have to trade a defensive player. This goes back to the trading Byard thing in order to add pieces for Russell on offense. But I think it's doable. I mean, you got to change a lot of things if you bring in Russell Wilson, but it's doable. And I agree with the texter that you're not going to lose the game because of Russell Wilson.
It's that element of trust in Russell Wilson that this year I did not have with Ryan Tannehill. That every time he dropped back to throw the ball, I was like, oh, God, where is it going?
The problem with that is not the fact that you felt that way about
It's that
Tannehill.
everyone felt
It's
the
the fact that he felt that way about Tannehill. Like, he's back there like,
I'm scared. And you could tell. Every time
like
he dropped back, like, oh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Don't hit me. I
Like
hope
a
I don't throw an
scared
interception.
puppy.
Yes. Ron Texan and says, I don't know about you guys, but I want a team where I don't have to worry about a window closing to have a team like that. You have to have an elite or very good quarterback because they make everybody else around them better. And please don't say every team goes through a rebuild because I can name a few teams that seems like they never actually go on a complete rebuild. So get the elite
Like
quarterback. I don't know. So get the elite quarterback and the window stays open longer.
So here's the thing about the window. Is Baltimore in the window? Baltimore was 14-2. Number 1 seed, lost at home in the playoffs, made the playoffs the next year. This year got everybody hurt and missed the playoffs. But you would assume that next year they'll get Marlon Humphrey back. They'll get Marcus Peters back. And I don't know their contract situations or anything like that, but they'll get those guys back. They'll get Lamar Jackson back. You can honestly
I would say they're in a
believe
window.
that if Lamar Jackson was healthy, that the Ravens would have made the playoffs this year. So you think the Ravens are still in their window? Are the Browns in their window? Remember, they went to the divisional round of the playoffs last year.
I don't know. I have a hard time believing that.
I just think these ideas of windows are really fickle. Like,
Probably.
I think when you're out, like when you can't compete for a championship, I think you're far away. But I don't think Cincinnati started this year thinking they could compete for a championship. And yet here they are at the Super Bowl. The Titans opened their window with a trip to the Super Bowl and never got back. So I just don't believe the window. I mean, look, if you keep making bad draft picks, yeah, your window will close because you won't have any good. All the players that you paid will get older, and then you will have to pay other players, and then you won't have any money, and you're paying your quarterback $38 million, and he's kind of a bum. Like, that's the scenario you put yourself in. But I don't get too into this window talk. 615-737-1025. Jason Fitz, ESPN Radio. What does he make about the quarterback tea leaves over the weekend? We'll get Fitz's thoughts coming up next. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Those are my guys at Hiller. Hey, Hiller extended their lower 2021 pricing through all of January to help customers tackle necessary replacements. And there was so much demand that they are now extending the same special pricing for one more month. That means through the end of this month. This will be the lowest pricing expected all year, and you've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves everywhere. Now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are going to be extremely limited in 2022. And because of supply issues and rising costs of parts, manufacturers are rapidly increasing the price of this equipment. If you need a replacement, call my friends at Hiller today. Do not wait until you're out of options. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be Your Services Free guarantee, and you can learn more at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, my choice, as well as proud supporters of the Nashville Predators, the Tennessee Volunteers, and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Hiller, call the Happy Face truck today.
Drivers, start your engine!
Be the first caller at 615-737-1025. And you'll qualify for a pair of tickets to see the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, on February 20th. Presented by Social Furniture. We are ESPN 1025 The Game.
This is Mikhail Kralund, and this is Nashville.
The rebound shoveled in by Mikhail Kralund, and the Predators have tied it up on the power play.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as the Nashville Predators take on the Dallas Stars this Wednesday. Puck drops at 7, but the party starts at 6:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Go for a huge score at the big game with BetMGM. Hey, what's up? It's Chase McCabe. Simply download the BetMGM app and place a $10 moneyline wager on pro football's final game. If either team scores a touchdown, you'll win $200 in free bets regardless of your wager's outcome. All you have to do is use the code SB200 when you make your first bet. You'll also earn BetMGM rewards points that you can redeem for room nights and dining at MGM resorts nationwide. Download the BetMGM app and use code SB200 to win $200 if either team scores a TD in the big game. It's only at BetMGM. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact tractors. Rated #1 for reliability in the under 100 horsepower category, they're designed for easy operation and feature performance-matched attachments. Right now, put 0 down and get 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus save up to $1,100. Now through February 28th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Come see why Coleman Tractor Company is one of the largest Kubota dealers in Middle Tennessee, Paris, Clarksville, Nashville, and their new location in White House.
Do you love Smashville? Join us February 12th and 15th to watch your Nashville Predators take on the Winnipeg Jets and Washington Capitals. Live from Bridgestone Arena. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make sure you get a seat or two. Whether you're bringing your honey or getting ready for a night out with your pals, Smashville is the place you need to be. Secure your seat and bring your gold. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make plans with the Preds. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $700 on average, and those savings add up. Imagine what you could buy in the future.
The graphics are so real on this video game console I bought with the savings from switching to Progressive 10 years ago. I can't tell what's real and what's the game, which I think is what people want. You know, in the future, which it is currently.
So switch to Progressive and save big, because those savings can add up in the future. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Call in to Robbie and Rexroad this week. It's your chance to win a 4-pack of wristbands to the 46th Annual National Wild Turkey Federation Convention at Opryland Resort, February 16th through the 20th. And click on the contest tab at thegamenashville.com for another chance to win.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Stillman and Company right here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. There's a rare Wednesday Preds game tonight as they take on the Dallas Stars. Join 102.5 The Game for tonight's Preds Bud Light Watch Party at Headquarters Beercade. Drink specials. Enter to win Preds tickets and watch Predators take on the Dallas Stars. It's the Preds Bud Light Watch Party at Headquarters Beercade located at 114 2nd Avenue South downtown. Puck drops at 7 o'clock tonight. Jason Fitz joins us, ESPN Radio. As always, presented by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. Fitzy, I want to start with this. A wild week of Titans quarterback speculation is in the rear view because Tom Brady retired. Then we dropped the report of Aaron Rodgers buying land in Brentwood. Then we got John Robinson telling Ben Arthur of the Tennessee, and Ryan's our quarterback. I don't know how many times I've got to say it. And the finger wagging of Robinson and the Titans in my direction. And yet still, we just had Keyshawn on. Everybody wants to talk about the quarterback position with the Titans. Do you think the Titans are making a mistake by committing to Tannehill as hard as they are committing right now before we know what's going to happen with Aaron and Russell Wilson?
I think the mistake was made when he got the deal he got. And, you know, if there's a mistake, like, no, I don't think, like, and we talked about this last week, I just don't think the Aaron Rodgers stuff adds up to much. Just like, frankly, you know, I remember years ago when we made a big deal about Justin Timberlake building a house in Leaper's Fork, and that meant he was going to make a country record. It's like, no, just meant that, you know, property, you can make a lot of money in Nashville buying land if you're rich. So, you know, I don't think there's much there. You know that. But I think the mistake's already been made. And, in fact, I was talking to a couple of buddies at ESPN about this yesterday. I would argue that if John Robinson were in a market like New York, Dallas, and gave the same contract to Ryan Tannehill, it would be the portion of daily talk about whether or not he screwed that up, whether or not Tannehill's worth it, and whether or not there should be accountability. I think in this instance, John Robinson actually is a little bit gets some of the benefit by being in a market that's not covered as much or as, you know, hot takey by the national media for sure.
So I believe, to your point, there's one person in town who literally does that, and it's me. And I do feel like I've pissed the Titans off pretty bad. And I'm not really upset about that. I'm not that doesn't affect me. I do think the Titans are trying to get by with the small marketness of the team, and I'm going to give you an example of this. And it was in the Ben Arthur. It was in the Ben Arthur column when he was asked. Ben Arthur asked John Robinson, "Last thoughts?" ? Here's what Robinson said. Quote, "When I was first hired in 2016, the Titans had won 5 games in 2 years combined. They weren't very good, and I told the fans we were going to win, and that's what we've done. We haven't won the big one, but just know that's our goal. 1 week at a time, put ourselves in position to get closer to that. I thought we did that this year." And it's kind of like, you know, in the big cities, they don't care about what it was like when you got there. Or in the big cities, they don't care that you won 9 games in a season, or they don't care that you won a division in Los Angeles. I think Robinson especially, but even Vrabel too, I think they use the small marketness of Nashville to kind of essentially cover people's eyes to the reality of the mistakes that have been made here.
Well, I think to your point, it's definitely fair to say that. It's also, I think, fair to say that they're not questioned the same way they would be in the bigger markets. But I also think that this is part of the process. Like, it's funny when your team in any market is terrible, all you want to do is be competitive. And then you get competitive, and that's not enough. You want to win the division. Then you win the division, and that's not enough. You got to look at it and say, okay, we should be winning Super Bowls. And it's alarming to me because we have this conversation, for example, about Aaron Rodgers constantly where we say, oh, my God, the Packers only got 1 Super Bowl out of Aaron Rodgers. They have failed him repeatedly. And last time I checked, I've also sat on radio at ESPN for how many years now where we've anointed Patrick Mahomes as a future Hall of Famer, but they've only gotten 1 Super Bowl out of him, too. And there's real conversations about whether that's enough. So it's like once you climb to whatever that peak is, the expectation is that you're going to take the next step. And, you know, to use a music analogy that matters for, you know, Nashville all the time, you've got to continue to have number one hits. Otherwise, eventually your label stops supporting you. And that's what I think happens realistically in the rise for these teams. So in my mind, for the Titans, the fact that they were the number one seed but didn't win the Super Bowl or didn't go to the Super Bowl this year, it's fair to say that that's a disappointment. If that's not a disappointment, then what are you doing? Because this is no longer a team that's just rising to get good. This is a team that should now be contending for championships. I think that's the fair next step in the expectation of the relationship between the city and the team.
Mike Vrabel's going to win Coach of the Year tomorrow, and he just got a contract extension yesterday. If the Titans don't do better than the AFC Championship game, this window will not be better than the Jeff Fisher window of the late 90s, early 2000s. Are we getting too sunk in on the Vrabel love around here? And do you think that in a bigger city, for example, Vrabel would be questioned more about the playoff losses that they've had over the last 3 years?
I think that probably initially, but Vrabel has this one thing that you can't teach, and that's likability, right? Like, people like him, people like covering him, people like talking to him. He's sarcastic, and he's, got his...
Even though he can be such an ass sometimes, you are right.
Yeah, and that's just part of the skill. Like, I said this yesterday when it came to Mike McDaniel, the new head coach that was hired away from the 49ers. And if you watch the press conferences, Mike McDaniel's hysterical, right? So there's just something likable about him. And Belichick is your gruff person, but he got to be gruff after he won a lot. So likability just gets you so much more skin in the game. And it's really interesting that that's where we are. But I think that Vrabel, because he is just comes across as the guy that everybody would have been friends with. Like, there's a Jimmy Fallon aspect to him in the sense that you feel like if you bumped into him in a bar, you just want to sit down and have a drink with him. And that buys you benefit of the doubt. And whether it's right or wrong, the media treats you differently when they flat out like you. We see it in college sports. We see it in the NFL. We see it across the board. Likability holds coaches to different standards.
Fitz, what do you make of the fact that Aaron Rodgers, Charles Woodson came out and said that he thinks they should trade Aaron Rodgers. Aaron hasn't said what he wants one way or another. Do you think Aaron's going to request a trade out of Green Bay? And if Aaron does request a trade out of Green Bay, do you think the Titans would be dumb not to pick up the phone, even in spite of all the things that they've said publicly?
Yeah, I think the Titans are the rare, like, if you're getting Aaron Rodgers, then you better be ready to win right now. And the Titans are ready to win right now. So if you got to mortgage your future to win right now, that makes a lot of sense. There should be some accountability to me to the Packers in this whole process. Like, and I've said this before, but like, Jordan Love isn't even part of this conversation, and he should be. I mean, you drafted him with the first-round pick. Like, if your quarterback isn't ready to play now, like, I just have some real curiosity as to why there's not accountability to that. I mean, I think Green Bay's being held to a different standard than the Cowboys or the Giants, for example, would be as well through that process. Like, they should be comfortable by now. Like, that's what should have been their process, right? Like, by today, they should be like, all right, well, Aaron Rodgers wants out, but we've groomed our guy and we're ready to go. So, it should make sense for all sides to be able to get some equity back for him. If not, if they go all in on Aaron Rodgers, they're going to have to do so much to their salary cap to just remain, existent this year. I got a lot of questions for what Matt LaFleur and the Packers are doing, what Gutekunst is doing, and what their plan was long-term if they don't move on from Aaron Rodgers.
What's the difference between Mike McCarthy and the way he coaches the Cowboys and his limitations and Ryan Tannehill and the way he quarterbacks the Titans and his limitations? Because everybody talks every day about McCarthy and what Jerry should do and how they should fire McCarthy. And every time we talk Tannehill, somebody, whether it's the Titans or the people who in the media who carry water for the Titans, wag that finger of how dare you, he won, they got the 1 seed, Mike Tannenbaum, Chris Sanders, how dare you talk about Tannehill like that? What's the difference between him and Mike Tannenbaum? Him and Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, the concept here is that McCarthy is easier to replace. A head coach, like we feel like head coaches just can be picked off of any apple tree and be just fine. So I think that's a part of the difference. Like, part of the hate constantly from McCarthy is the fact that he's essentially a CEO. He doesn't coordinate anything. He doesn't run anything. So he needs to be a great CEO. And then he's not a great CEO, and he's bad with time management, and it feels like, or clock management, I should say.
Oh, he's just a schlub on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's not good at anything. And the concept is, he's easily replaceable. Part of the reason that Tannehill is seen differently is that because even mediocre quarterback play is not easy to replace. And that's the hardest part of this conversation, is that if not him, then who, is a weird situation for every team to be asking in what I think is one of the worst quarterback markets we've seen in a decade, whether you're looking at free agency or whether you're looking at the draft. There's so little out there that's worth it that, and so many teams competing for it that it's just McCarthy's easier to replace than Tannehill is. Tannehill will still, if Tannehill goes somewhere today, he still has, there's going to be teams that see Tannehill as an upgrade. If McCarthy gets fired today, nobody's saying, I'll hire that guy. He's an upgrade.
Jason Fitz, ESPN Radio, presented by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. Fitz, appreciate it. Enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend.
Have a great week, my friend. Appreciate you.
Yep, Jason Fitz joining us on the program. Speaking of the Super Bowl, I got a thought that I have heard way, way, way too much about. I'll explain that coming up next. Stillman and Company, right here. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. Forecast looking good going into tonight. Not terribly cold. Low temperatures in the middle 30s and mainly clear. We stay clear with a limited sunshine for your Thursday. And high temperatures climbing into the upper 50s near 60 degrees. We'll stay warm for Friday as well.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
The NFL season all comes down to this, folks. Super Bowl 56, Rams, Bengals. And to celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking all customers up with a risk-free same-game parlay. Joe Rexford here to let you know, new and existing customers can place any same-game parlay of 3 legs or more on the Super Bowl. And if you don't win, FanDuel will refund you. Same-game parlays, of course, combine multiple bets from the same game into one wager for bigger payouts. You build your parlay your way, spreads, money lines, totals, Super Bowl props. I would go Rams on the money line. I think I would go Cam Akers over on the rushing yards and Joe Burrow over on passing yards. If you already have an account, place your risk-free same-game parlay before the Super Bowl to qualify. New customers, join today with promo code Joe102. You also get 56-1 odds on either team to win the Super Bowl, which means you can turn $5 into $280. That's promo code Joe102 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is now a drawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Mashing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company, TriStar Moving, right here, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Joe Rexrode, Jared versus Joe in 15 minutes. I've got some critiquing I have to do, and this is not just of Joe's morning show, but they did do a lot of this today. I got to ask a serious question out here. I get it. Everybody's going to watch the Super Bowl. Nashville's going to be one of the largest markets in America for the Super Bowl because people in Nashville love football. And everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to talk about it on Monday. Can you believe that crazy play that happened? Oh, my God. It was incredible. I get that. But I see people in local radio that are talking about the Super Bowl today. I don't think anybody cares about the Super Bowl today. So I think that, again, ESPN, all these guys, the way ESPN does things, when you are a local radio station, you have to realize you should not do things the way that ESPN or Fox or all these people do them. They're talking to the entire country. So, yeah, there's somebody here that wants to hear talk about, is Jamar Chase better than Jalen Ramsey? But I don't think most people in Nashville, Tennessee want to hear that. And yet you flip around the radio and it's like, all right, this is the Bengals' perspective. I don't think people in Nashville, Tennessee are worried about that on a Wednesday. Friday, I think we'll be talking Super Bowl. But right now, you got all this quarterback drama involving the Titans. You have all this drama surrounding Aaron Rodgers. And the best part about this, and I do feel like maybe the guest list for the people that go around on the big shows and everything around the country has kind of gotten worse and worse compared to what it used to be. But every now and then there's going to be a big name guest that will say something controversial and people will talk about it in the week leading up to the Super Bowl because sports is the soap opera for people that are too cool to actually watch soap operas. Like they think, oh, no, I'm better than The Young and the Restless. And then it's like, Aaron Rodgers bought a house in Tennessee. What does it mean? And I think that's what moves the needle and not talk about the Super Bowl game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Rams. Two teams that most people don't really care about. If it were Dallas, that might be different. If it were Brady, that might be different. There's always Brady storylines. But if I flip on a local radio station in America and I hear them breaking down the Super Bowl on a Wednesday, I'm like, you guys either have to learn more about what your fans are actually talking about at the water cooler or you got to get some better fans. Because
if you're not in Cincinnati or Los Angeles this year.
You're Cincinnati and Los Angeles, you talk about this.
You can talk about the Super Bowl.
But not the local cities. Not the local markets. If you're in Jacksonville, you talk about Doug Peterson and his coaching staff. If you're in Indianapolis, you talk about what they're going to do with Carson Wentz. If you're in Houston, you talk about the fact that they got goaded in again to hiring a coach they didn't want. You do not talk about whether or not the Bengals' offensive line will be able to hold up against Aaron Donald. That can wait until Friday. Time now for headlines with Caroline.
We're spanning the sports world. It's Headlines with Caroline on Stillman and Company, right here on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell addressed Brian Flores' lawsuit against the NFL today actually, and said that the NFL, quote, fell short in terms of increasing the number of minority head coaches. He goes on to say that we believe in diversity. We believe it has made us stronger. People who have come into the league who are diverse have been very successful and made us better. Essentially, Roger Goodell just got up there and spoke to the lawsuit going on and was essentially just doing his job, being a face for the league. But I don't know how much, substance really came out of that press conference.
Well, I think the big substance that came out was he lied about Deflategate. So Mike Florio's got a new book that comes out called Playmaker, I think. Mm-hmm. And I haven't read it, and honestly, I probably won't read it. But I guess Florio is reporting that Jeff Pash, the counsel for the league, ordered data from 2015, which measured ball density, destroyed. So they had the ball measurements of PSI. And again, to me, if Brady was in the Super Bowl, this would be a much bigger deal. Mm-hmm. But they had it for games during the season where footballs lost air, and so it kind of proved that their point was wrong. And when the NFL, threw Brady under the bus, they destroyed evidence that would have been in favor of Brady. And Goodell was asked about it, and Goodell was like, I haven't even thought about Deflategate, and I don't think we did any of that, this and the other. And it was the NFL that leaked Troy Vincent, who's Goodell's number 2, in certain elements, leaked to Chris Mortensen that, 10 out of the 11 footballs were underinflated. And now Florio releases this nugget right before the Super Bowl week where he's doing all these shows trying to get people to buy his book. So Goodell was asked about it, and Goodell essentially lied about it. But yes, I think you're right. Normally, Goodell does not say much at these uncomfortable press conferences where he gets asked questions, and he does things like every politician does, which is kind of avoid the big topic. I do think an interesting element, though, to the Flores case is they're saying, yeah, we haven't done a good enough job. They're saying we're going to investigate the owner of the Dolphins. But last week when the lawsuit came out, they said that the claims were frivolous. So are they frivolous, or are you not doing a good job? Because at the beginning you said they were frivolous. And now you're saying you're not doing a good job. And you said they were frivolous. And now you're saying you're going to investigate whether or not the Dolphins owner's tanking.
But on the other side as well, Brian Flores says, I'm willing to give up my career, to give up my opportunity to do what I've wanted to do my entire life in order
And then
for
he
the
cried
justice.
like a baby when he didn't get the Texans.
And then when Lovie Smith gets hired, then all of a sudden that's not good enough. So on both sides, what is it? What do you want?
Yeah, but the difference is that Brian Flores, that's not like part of the lawsuit is I'm willing to give up my career. It was more just like, I'm disappointed. I think I would have had that job. Whereas with Goodell, it's like, those are frivolous. We will fight you in court, outside of court. Yeah, they're not frivolous. Well, what's that tell us? What's next?
So the NFL Nation reporters for ESPN did a little bit of a redraft. If they could go back and do it again,
Oh,
what
yeah,
would
we
they
got to
do
get rid of the
differently?
girl in Pittsburgh who covers the Steelers.
Why?
See who her second-round pick was?
I don't think so.
At 55 overall, I think her name's Brooke Paylor.
Uh-huh.
She has them taking Dylan Radins.
Sis.
So
why? I mean, I just clicked Titans and I just read what TD had to
So
say.
you just went through who TD had Elijah Moore, which is not surprising.
It was not
considering
surprising.
that-
I almost audibly laughed when I read that because
Yeah,
I know that
that's-
TD loves him
was
some
pretty
Elijah
much
Moore.
on
Would have
that.
taken Elijah Moore.
So I went
over
through
Caleb
the
Farley.
whole thing,
Uh-huh.
just seeing, and this goes back to the fact that, like with most things in life, if you're driving home from work right now and you're listening to this show, think about what you do for a living, and then think about what everybody else does for a living, and how people comment to you about what you do for a living, and you know that they don't have any clue about what you do. This is how the NFL works. It's impossible to keep up with every team. She just looked at who was a tackle that went in the second round. Steelers needed a tackle, so she put Dylan Radins on there, in spite of the fact that he played in one game of meaningful football this year. Embarrassing.
It's pretty bad. But in the second round, instead of taking said Dylan Radins, TD said he would have taken Kelvin Joseph. Cornerback said ideally the Titans would have taken Elijah Molden or Nate Hobbs to man the nickel spot. Joseph gives the Titans a future starter at outside corner.
Do we even know what Joseph did this year? I don't even know what team he's on.
I don't know what team he's on.
So I don't even know what he did. I'm sure I'm not saying TD's wrong, but I have no idea.
I mean, I guess he's saying, okay, we take a wide receiver in the first round.
The
We needed
only
to fill that corner spot. He's on the Cowboys.
The only interesting thing I saw was the fact that Kyle Pitts goes from number 4 to like number 6, and Micah Parsons goes up to number 4. Parsons, that's the thing about the draft. It's just because somebody's not considered to be a top 5 pick at draft time does not mean that they're not TJ Watt or Micah Parsons. So you got the 26th pick in the draft. That could be Keith Bullock, or that could be Albert Hainsworth, or that could be like a really good player. Eddie George, Floyd traded down for in the NFL draft. So keep that in mind when Mel Kiper Jr. ranks guys, or somebody goes 8 or 9, that they could be Micah Parsons. What's next?
It does always frustrate me whenever people take whatever Mel Kiper has to say or any of the draft gurus
But
have to
even
say.
the picks, Parsons was like 9th. So it can always. What's next?
Per Ian Rappaport, the Steelers are scheduled to interview ESPN commentator Louis Riddick for their vacant GM job. So he last worked in the NFL as the Eagles' director of pro personnel in 2013. And Riddick told Steeler Nation that this offseason that there's only a few jobs that would interest him, and a return to the front office in Pittsburgh is one of them. But another one that's also interviewing for the Pittsburgh GM job is Titans executive Ryan Cowden.
Yeah, so I think they've interviewed everybody.
Yeah.
And so
they're doing their due diligence there.
And the Steelers, here's the one thing I would say. And I'm not about telling people you always want to hire the best people for the job, no matter what their race is, ethnicity, because nobody cares, right? They only want to see wins and losses. But this whole third-round pick thing, for minority candidates getting hired, going other places, 2 third-round picks to the 49ers for Mike McDaniel, that's in my mind. I want those third-round picks. Now, those are starters in the NFL. So It will be interesting to see what direction the Steelers, who obviously founded the Rooney Rule, the late Mr. Rooney, to see what direction they go. I would not hire Louis Riddick to be my general manager. I do not think he has the experience to do it. I don't know Louis Riddick, but I have not heard enough in his commentary to make me think that he can do it. But the Steelers did interview him, or are going to interview him, so we'll see how that goes. Those are headlines with Caroline. Joe Rexrode will join us next for Jared versus Joe. It should be very spirited. That's coming up next. Stillman and Company right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
Now, you may say, well, a quarterback is more important than a running back. That's fine. You can say whatever you want.
The voice of the fan.
Even if we have to develop him while he's playing, I just want a boring first-round pick.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution. And Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at ParmanTractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Invite you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We're offering some exciting new menu items. We have Grandma's famous chicken and dumpling soup. We're offering a fun and new exciting Nashville hot battered shrimp. We're also very excited about our confit chicken hash. Join us in Kitchen Notes for our award-winning patty melt made with our house-made pimento cheese, local Blackhawk Farms beef patty. Come join us in Kitchen Notes and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Lunch at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
They've rocked over 35 million fans around the world.
It's my
Bon Jovi, the 2022 tour. Bridgestone Arena, Saturday, April 30th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bon Jovi, all their anthems for one incredible night. Presented by Hampton Water. For more, check bonjovi.com.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
The National Wild Turkey Federation's 46th Annual Convention and Sports Show is February 16th through the 20th at Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Celebrate a year of conservation success with the National Wild Turkey Federation members, volunteers, and partners. You can expect the same great nightly events, quality entertainment in the watering hole, and the latest gear from more than 350 companies featured in their exhibit hall. For more info, go to nwtf.org.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Good morning!
Morning! Robbie and Rexrode mornings from 6 to 10.
It's not bad. Might have to work on that. Not bad. It's a starting point.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Joe Rexrode is here. A little Jared versus Joe, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Joseph, I got to say, I was pleased on Monday listening to the Rex rant in which you defended my honor, and I was thankful for. But then I heard you get all finger-wagging about this is the last time we talk about Aaron Rodgers and the Titans. And then I go to hear you talking on Tuesday about Aaron Rodgers and the Titans. So it obviously wasn't the last time it was Aaron Rodgers and the Titans. How are you, Joe?
That's true. It will probably never end. I'm doing fine. How are you? How are you folks today?
We're just super.
Just dandy.
Let's do it. It's time now for Jared versus Joe.
Jared Stillman versus Joe Rexrode. Now on Stillman and Company.
On ESPN
102.5 The Game.
We'll start off on what I feel like is the most obvious question to ask. We'll have Jared go first this time around. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill. You are the Titans. Pick your quarterback. With all things considered, the way that it is now, what you would have to do to go get those quarterbacks, what would you do?
Probably do Aaron Rodgers only because Aaron Rodgers is a more sure thing than Russell Wilson. The Brady thing is, does Brady actually want to come out of retirement? And if he wants to come out of retirement, is it not going to be Miami? I think Miami makes the most sense. The owner at Miami, I believe, tried to tamper with Brady before the 2020 season. Brady and Giselle just built a $17 million eco-friendly mansion on that island that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner live on that has its own private police force for 30 homes. Like, I think that is what Brady wants. Get away from Arians. They got tons of cap space, and they got a head coach who will leave them alone. I think Russell would work better with Vrabel, but I'm going to go with Aaron because I think Aaron is a more sure thing than Russell. Russell has not really won a whole lot once all the players that made the Seahawks of 2013 and 14 and 15, once all those guys kind of left, the Seahawks have been okay, but they haven't really been that good. Russell got hurt this year. Russell's the same age as Tannehill. I think there's some questions about whether or not Russell can carry the team to a Super Bowl. Not that he'd have to here, but I'm going to go with Aaron because I think he's more of a sure thing at this point. He's going to be two-time league MVP. I'll take Aaron.
Okay, so I want to make sure I'm clear on this question, Caroline. So this is which of those four am I prioritizing, right? In other words, like, are you saying who are you choosing, who you going after, or no matter what it takes, this has to be your quarterback?
Who, if you are John Robinson, if you're in the Titans front office, what quarterback are you going after?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is, I think he's better than Russell Wilson. And frankly, I mean, it's hard for me to even, the Brady stuff, I understand what he said the other day, but I think that's, even though all of it may be far-fetched, okay, the Brady one, that's hard for me to even try to start plotting. So, yeah, it would be Aaron Rodgers.
You don't think Brady's going to retire after what he said the other day?
I probably not. You think it's a lock? He's unretiring?
I think that when Michael Jordan had his 1993 retirement press conference, he said something along the lines of, retirement means I can do whatever I want to do. And if I want to come back, then I'll come back. And I was like, oh, God. You know, when you know the end result there, Jordan ended up coming back. Brady hasn't been retired for a week. And he's talking about, I don't know how I'll feel in the future. Maybe I'll come back. I don't know. I mean, sounds to me like if he gets the right situation that he wants, he's going to come back. And I think that's why I think that situation's Miami. And so I think Brady would come back for Miami. I don't know if he'd come back for here. But if he were open to coming back, I certainly think you're second or third on the list. And maybe you could snag Brady. But I'd probably put it at 50-50 that Brady comes back. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe 60. 60, I think. Yeah, 60, 65.
Yeah, I think it's about 5. I mean, look, maybe someday I could see after a year because he can't stand being out. Jared, this is a week after retired. It's just like it's some emotional statements after some loss, big win. You got to take it with a grain of salt. I didn't hear anything in there that's like, oh, this is definitely unretirement happening right now. Someday, I would not be surprised if, Jordan does the baseball thing, decides, he decides he's not very good at baseball, and comes back. But yeah, it's fine. If we're going to consider him for this, I would agree that I would put him ahead of Wilson too, but I'd still prioritize Rodgers.
I mean, let's just say Brady unretires. Let's say Brady says, I decided after a month I'm ready to get back into it, but I'm not going back to Tampa because I don't want to work for Arians anymore. And so I'm open to whatever. Then I would prioritize Brady over Rodgers because I think Brady wins more in the playoffs, and I think Brady would fit in better here. And I feel like for Tom Brady, like his only goal is to win the Super Bowl, and that's all he would care about. And I think he could do it. So if Brady were to come back, and Tampa's not going to make you give up as much. If Brady were to come back, I would prioritize Brady over Rodgers. But because there is that, well, what if? I think I'd go Rodgers right now.
And, of course, in this world of yours, it's just very easy to unload Ryan Tannehill and his contract because all these teams out there are just clamoring for him.
Oh, no. Somebody will take Tannehill. Like, I heard you say this last week when you said, tell me who, Jared, who.
Oh, I heard your response.
Tannehill is like a top 16
he's
quarterback
the worst quarterback in the league, too. Everyone would want this guy in $30 million, of course.
I never said that. Did I ever say that?
You didn't say that.
Okay, no. Let me ask you a question.
You said that he was the 7th out of the 8th worst quarterbacks in the playoffs.
Thank you. So, somebody's going to take Jimmy G. He sucks. Somebody traded a first and a third last year for Carson Wentz. He sucks. Tannehill is better than Carson Wentz. Somebody will take Tannehill. And not only that, they won't give you a first and third like Philadelphia got from Indianapolis in exchange for Carson Wentz. Somebody's going to need a quarterback. Carolina's going to need a quarterback. Pittsburgh's going to need a quarterback. They're not all going to draft him. Washington's going to need a quarterback. They're not all going to be available. Somebody will take on Tannehill. I think it's just laughable that you think nobody out there wants Tannehill.
No, it's all coming together.
Nice retort.
Our next one, in that same kind of breath. Hold on, sorry. Oh, okay. In that same breath, how many other starting quarterbacks in the league could have stepped in Tannehill's place and beaten the Bengals?
Okay. How many other quarterbacks of the other 30, I guess of the other 30, how many of them could have stepped in with the same conditions and won that game?
Yes.
Well, a lot. I mean, it's hard. Do I have to give you an exact number?
Not an exact number, but
I mean, a lot of them. And again, like I would say to that too, like Tannehill on a lot of days could step into that and not be 3 interception Ryan Tannehill. But yeah, lots of guys. Not to mention, like, take away the first year, whatever that is. What is that? 10? Is that 8, 7, 9, somewhere in there? You know, the generally agreed upon top tier. If you're going to include guys like Dak up in that, you might consider Dak like a good second tier quarterback. I mean, I'd put guys like Kirk Cousins. Oh, would Baker Mayfield step in on a good day for him? Sure, he could. Now, Baker Mayfield could also do what Tannehill did. But I would say there's probably only like 10 to 12 quarterbacks without looking at the list right now of all the starters who I would not feel good about going. Maybe 14. Maybe 12. I go 12. Who I would not feel good about. Like, yeah, you don't have the goods to do it. I mean, Tannehill really was not exceptional in that game. Even apart from the picks, he didn't do much either. It's not like he had a productive game, but he had the picks. I mean, he had basically the one good drive, the one good throw to A.J. Brown, and then did very little else other than that.
So I would say, where would we rank Taylor Heineke in the NFL starting quarterback list?
Bottom,
like 20th?
Bottom 10. I was going to say 20 to 25-ish.
Taylor Heineke and above
wins
lower than that game. Maybe. Taylor Heineke and above wins that game. Logan Woodside wins that game. Like, that performance at quarterback was so ungodly terrible.
How would you know Logan Woodside wins that game?
Because I covered practice just like you did, Joe, and the one thing Logan Woodside didn't do was turn the football over. You literally could have game managed your way with Jalen Hurts to a victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. And, like, I like Jalen Hurts, the guy. I don't love Jalen Hurts, the quarterback. But Jalen Hurts would have won that game. I mean, any question, any of the three of us, anybody have a question that Jalen Hurts would have won that game?
Sure.
Okay. That should tell you something. Taylor Heineke would have won that game. Cam Newton probably wouldn't have. That's where we get to, how far down is whatever. But I think Mac Jones wins that game. I think Carson Wentz probably wins that game, and you all know I think Carson Wentz sucks.
Wow.
I think maybe Gardner
You don't
Minshew
think
wins that
Carson
game.
Wentz can throw those picks too?
I think Carson Wentz can throw those picks. I'm not sure Carson Wentz comes out first play of the game and throws that pick. I mean, look, the Eagles won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, where Foles had a good defensive line, a la the Titans, and solid players. And Foles, for 2 postseasons in a row, just played okay. And, played out of his mind in the Super Bowl, but he played okay in the playoff game. Back up. That's it. Back up. Rob Johnson.
Who had been a starter, who had been an accomplished starter. Jared,
Rob Johnson. Right. And Taylor Heineke started a little bit too. Rob
and Logan
Johnson
Woodside has taken 2 kneel downs in his life, but okay.
was a backup quarterback in 1999. He started the Music City Miracle game, and he had Buffalo in position to win.
He had started to.
I'm telling you, this is, to me, that people are forgetting how bad Tannehill was. It is a narrative that is, he's not good enough to beat the elite quarterbacks like Joe Burrow. You didn't need an elite quarterback game to beat Joe Burrow. You needed an average quarterback game to beat Joe Burrow. You needed a Jalen Hurts game to beat Joe Burrow. You needed a Taylor Heineke game to beat Joe Burrow.
Right.
And he still couldn't do it, and now he's going to be $38 million against your cap next year.
I agree with you that the game was what you say it was. So anybody who's glossing over that is wrong. But again, if we're going to do this hypothetically, which quarterback in the league could do it, then again, I will tell you, if you're going to tell me that Carson Wentz, he could have come out and not thrown those picks. Well, I mean, let's do this game 10 times. How many times does Tannehill play like that?
This season, probably 5, maybe.
Okay.
Okay,
well, that's fine.
I
mean, the point being, this was atypical, even for as rough and shaky as this season was for him. This was a different level of bad. Can we agree on this?
I do agree. The thing is, though, I think it's the stakes that pushed him to playing that poorly. That's he played poorly against the Texans. He played poorly against the Jets. He played poorly against the Steelers. But the stakes of this game had him, and this shouldn't happen to a guy who's been in the NFL for a decade, but he crumbled under the pressure. So the idea of, hey, Tannehill, this was a once out of 5 performance out of Tannehill, but because the stakes were so high, I think he would have melted no matter who the opponent was, because I think he's kind of soft right now.
Well, I'm talking about the same conditions. I'm talking about the same condition. I don't disagree, but again, I'm talking about the same conditions. So you're telling me he melts down every time because of the stakes?
I think that this Tannehill mentally this season, he turned into Mariota with how one mistake could ruin him. I mean, go back to that Pittsburgh game. He was ruined as soon as Anthony Ferguson fumbled the football, and I don't know why, but he was ruined in that Steeler game, and there was no way for him to stem the tide. Can't even correctly take the snap. I mean, it's just awful. All right, we'll go to the other side of this with Joe next. 615-737-1025, and I don't know why I gave out the phone number. Jared versus Joe is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Every Thursday at 1 on Darren, Donick, and Chase, we're joined by Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman for the best inside knowledge on the NHL. It's all brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The cold winds of winter are here, and that means it's a great time to replace those old, drafty windows. Pella is the leader in the industry for top-quality window and door products. But Pella Windows and Doors are also affordable, extremely affordable. Pella has payment plans less than $95 a month to replace your windows. So, I suggest you purchase your windows and doors from the experts at Pella of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Shop today at Social Furniture during their President's Day sale. You'll find everything for your home on sale now. They have same-day delivery for your convenience and pay nothing down today. Use Social Furniture financing plan and pay no interest for 1 full year. For a limited time, they have designer sofas, solid wood bedroom furniture, leather sofas, and sectionals in stock now. They can deliver any size mattress the same day during their President's Day sale going on now through President's Day. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local. Shop social.
Hey, what's going on? Chase McCabe here to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Dr. Rice, is it true that according to the American Dental Association, roughly 80% of people in the U.S. have some form of gum disease?
That's right, but our non-surgical periodontal therapy is painless and effective in keeping your mouth healthy. And the mouth is the window to the health of the rest of the body.
I know you have some different things that you offer. What else can you tell us?
Well, first, who doesn't want whiter teeth? Our new Zoom LED whitening system is less sensitive, and you get more than 5 shades of whitening. And we just upgraded both our lasers to kill bacteria during your cleaning.
What about taking care of cold sores some people may have, which can become painful? Can lasers help with that too?
Yes, the gentle laser setting will kill the virus in your cold sores all naturally while reducing the healing time by half. And our special soft tissue wand uses warm, light laser therapy to give instant relief to severe TMJ pain. Our approach to holistic dentistry is unique.
Give Dr. Kelly Rice Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine a call today at 615-373-4488 or visit kellyerice.com. You'll certainly be glad you did.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I'm excited to tell you about our friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and their heating and air stimulus plan. If your AC or heating unit is old and inefficient, then you need to take advantage of their special offer right now. They will double your tax refund up to $1,000. Huge savings with Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Get a York unit that lasts with a 10-year parts and labor warranty with up to 60 months, no interest financing on all York units. Restrictions do apply. Schedule now at springhillac.com. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company.
Finishing jobs on time, never being idle, and powerful equipment. Meade has the John Deere excavating equipment and the smart grade technology solutions for you and your business. Power your business with a new, used, or rented excavator and get the performance you expect and service you can rely on. Call us today for the equipment built as tough and reliable as you, or visit us at meadtractor.com. That's meadtractor.com.
Music City. Start a profitable new chapter of your life and be your own boss with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. In fact, no matter where you are, from Green Hills to the Gulch to down in Franklin, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com. And then make that call.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Jared Stillman versus Joe Rexroad, now on Stillman and Company
on ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Round number 2, Caroline Fenton, tee us up.
All right, let's have Joe start this one. Joe, if the Titans do decide to stick with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, what do you think is stopping John Robinson or Mike Vrabel for going after an elite quarterback?
Well, first of all, like, do we generally agree that they've made that clear, or no?
Well, we talked about it yesterday. Caroline thinks no.
I'm not closing the door.
I think that if Robinson were to go out and trade for Aaron Rodgers, then, like, I made the joke yesterday, but I'll make it again now because I think it's funny. But, like, I think that it'll literally be like, I did not have sexual relations with that quarterback. That's what I will have read in the Ben Arthur column in the Tennessee.
One more time.
I did not have sexual relations with that quarterback, Mr. Rodgers. Yes.
Well done.
I wasn't even sure if Caroline was going to get that when I did it the first time.
No, I understand Bill Clinton references.
I don't know. You were born in 97. That happened in 98.
That was one of the most iconic moments in American history. Yes, I know the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky infamous press conference.
I mean, yeah, like, people know about it, but, like, one of the most iconic. Either way, Joe, why are they not going to go get
a very well known
quarterback?
Yeah,
it's very well known.
I don't know, and I don't have a great answer. I think it's probably a combination. I don't think it's all. I don't think it's all one. If we're going to group this into two things, to me, one would be just pure belief in Tannehill. Just belief that was a bad day at the office and that he's the guy, and that there are all these other factors, and the preponderance of the evidence of Tannehill here makes it clear that they believe they can go to the Super Bowl with them. And then the other side is just that they don't think that they can pull it off. That they don't think they can pull off a trade to get one of these guys. They don't think they can unload Tannehill, though Jared says it's a piece of cake. And that it's just they've already kicked the can down the road, and that's the limit. I think it's probably a combination of that. I think a lot of these things that Vrabel and especially Robinson have said are a reaction to the backlash, because I think for the most part in this city, this fan base and media core, it's been pretty unanimous. I suppose, man, maybe a straggler or two, but it's been pretty unanimous, and I'd say, pretty outspoken on the Tannehill, issue after this game. But I think when you're that strong with the statement, I have to say that there's something I can't put that all on. Well, I just shut these people up, and meanwhile, let's behind the scenes, let's figure this out. I mean, I can't. It's hard to buy that. So I think it's a combination. They have a brighter view of Tannehill than a lot of people do. And again, hey, raise my hand. I mean, that last game was a line in the sand for me. I can only speak for myself on that. And then the combination of, that along with just the fact that they don't believe that they can make it happen.
So I'm going to ask you all a question. Why did Jerry Jones fire Jimmy Johnson, Joe?
Oh, are you going to go? Oh, we're going to do the Jerry Jones syndrome for Vrabel and Robinson? That might be my favorite Jared take ever.
Let me ask you
this. Are we doing that? Oh, that's goody. Let's
just
do
answer the question I asked you. Why did Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson not get along?
Well, I think that was absolutely a case of who's getting too much credit over
Egos. Why did Brady and Belichick clash at the end? Egos. Yeah, I'm not going to treat you like the star player because it's my program, and I'm the star player. You should treat me a little bit better. Give me a better contract. Egos. Why is Rodgers mad at the Packers? Because you drafted a first-round quarterback. Egos. Why will the Titans not upgrade a quarterback?
Why wouldn't he
be? Ego. Because Vrabel and Robinson have sold their soul for some dumb reason for Ryan Tannehill, and they took the cheese just like we took the cheese, and they can't admit that it was stupid to do so, and that by the grace of God, they can't do it. Their egos are too big. Robinson and Vrabel's egos are too big. I could not believe, and I've talked about this in the Ben Arthur column, when Ben Arthur's last question was last thoughts, and Robinson goes right to patting himself on the back. Quote, when I was first hired in 2016, the Titans have won 5 games in 2 years combined. They weren't very good, and I told the fans we're going to win, and that's what we've done because of me. Vote for me for president. God bless America, and God bless the United States. Like, that's what that was. It's an ego thing.
Whoa.
It's ego.
This is mind-blowingly stupid. I mean, it's so stupid.
Why?
You can't possibly.
Do Vrabel and Robinson have big egos?
Well, everybody in this league has an ego. An ego, but not like a Jerry.
Jerry Jones does dumb stuff because he's got a big ego. Bill Belichick let Tom Brady walk out the door because he's got a big ego.
No. Here we go. Let's go back to that one. No, Bill Belichick thought that Tom Brady was diminishing as a player and that he needed to start thinking about the next guy. That's the problem. That was the rub, Jared. It was not just an ego thing. And to put this on some, oh, well, we can't. So you think they just don't want to admit they're wrong? That's what you're saying here?
Yes.
That's stupid.
That they are blinded, that they can't be wrong.
Go through the whole tenure of John Robinson. He's made plenty of mistakes, and he's admitted them, and they've gotten rid of people, and they've not played people, and they've not forced someone to, this guy's a high draft pick, better play him. No. Dylan Radin.
John Robinson, in his tenure as general manager, in my opinion, in his tenure as general manager, one time has gotten up there and been like, I screwed up. And it was Kevin Dodd. And that includes Isaiah Wilson, who gave them no choice but to do what they ended up doing. But Kevin Dodd was the one where he got up there and said, yo, I screwed up. He's not doing it with Julio. I mean, I asked him last year about his
Julio story's not over.
They won't do it with Clowney. When I asked him last year about the 2020 offseason and if they reevaluated.
The actions are what matter. I don't care what they say at a press conference, Jared. It's the actions that matter, okay? And they have repeatedly made the choice of whatever is best. If it was an ego thing, like you really think that this is related to that,
why the hell do they just let all their first-round picks go? Well, shoot, they better just give options to – they better re-sign Conklin, and they better get Rashawn Evans. Their first-round picks.
Didn't you tell me they tried to re-sign Conklin and Conklin didn't want to?
Well, I don't think they gave enough money. But the point being, they have let all these guys walk, or they've benched guys, or they've moved on from people. That's come on, man. You are reaching here. You can't possibly believe that that's what this is.
Let me ask Caroline a question. Do you think I believe this?
Oh, you believe that wholeheartedly.
Okay. I mean, you can say you can't possibly believe this. Like, I'm telling you, I believe it.
So they're choosing, even though what you think then is that they believe Tannehill's not the guy and they should be moving on from him. But because they don't want to admit that they're wrong, they're gonna go with this and just play it out. I can't stand it. My ego's too big. I can't stand to admit I'm wrong. So then they're gonna take the
Can I answer?
Can I answer? And lose their jobs?
Can I answer?
How stupid that is, Jared?
Can I answer? Can I please answer?
Sure. Please do.
First
Please
of all,
say something different.
I assume that they signed their contract extensions or were really close to it before the Bengals game, because Vrabel's attitude after the Bengals game about I'm going to be the coach for a while tells me that he either had or was going to sign that contract extension. So this idea that Tannehill's going to get him fired is not true. They're going to get the next quarterback after Tannehill. They're going to get to choose the next quarterback after Tannehill. Here's what they don't want to do. And by they, I mean Robinson, really, because Vrabel has not really come out and been like, Ryan's our guy. And that's not really Vrabel's position. And you guys weren't willing to ask that at the end of the season anyways. But I will say that I felt like the Julio trade, which is why you can't get rid of Ryan Tannehill, was so bad and so obviously bad both inside NFL circles and from this show, which was the only show, and I listened to them all. It was the only show that criticized that at the time on May 7th or March 7th or whatever it was like, no to Julio. But because they did it, and because they're not going to be picking in the second round, and because they're stuck with Julio and they're stuck with Tannehill, they got all this money, what they're going to do is they're going to try to convince everybody that they think they can win with this guy, because admitting that they can't will be like, hey, we were wrong for 3 years. We passed on Tom Brady, we screwed that up, and we screwed this up, and we're not willing to do it. Just like Vrabel goes out and hires guys to coach his coaches, and then won't tell us what the guys brought in to coach the coaches do because he doesn't want anybody to know, when in reality he can't just say, that guy I hired sucks, I'm going to fire him. Like, he couldn't do it with Bowen. He's not doing it with Downing. They're bringing in guys to help the coaches coach. It's all an ego thing, Joe. It's all ego, and it's all willing to say these major monumental decisions that I made were good decisions because I believe it, and then the reality is they were bad decisions, and we all know, and they won't admit it.
If there's a shred of truth to what you think, a shred, then they both need to be fired now. I need you to go home tonight and think about this and look at yourself in the mirror and say it out loud to yourself. And at some point realize this is moronic, Jared. This is moronic.
Hey,
there's no way.
Why did Brady not go to San Francisco, Caroline?
They are trying to win. What?
Why did Brady not go to San Francisco from what we heard?
The MFer?
No. Because Shanahan and Brady
yes.
got into an argument about situational football, and Shanahan decided Brady wouldn't fit, and Brady thought Shanahan was insecure. Egos. Egos are real. Who won, Caroline?
Well, your ego take, in my opinion, is bad. I just think it's so asinine to think.
We already talked about the Kyle Shanahan-Brady thing.
I know the Kyle Shanahan-Brady thing.
So you think that can't happen here?
What?
So, Joe, explain it to Joe, the Kyle Shanahan-Brady thing.
Ian, if you could please, Mike Felger, 98.5 The Sports Hub in Boston, tells this story yesterday on the air about why Brady didn't go to San Francisco. Here's what he said.
Stu heard a great story about what happened with Brady in San Francisco last year. Jimmy Stewart says the story he heard was that when Brady talked with Shanahan and John Lynch last year about joining the Niners, or 2 years ago then, right?
Yeah.
Shanahan was telling Brady what he would need to do during certain situational plays. And Brady started referencing situational plays from the Falcons Super Bowl game. At that point, Shanahan decided Brady was not the right fit for the 49ers. Brady looks at Shanahan as insecure.
There you go. So Shanahan starts talking to Brady about situational football. Brady, feels like Shanahan needs to kiss the rings a little bit because obviously Brady knows situational football, makes a joke or kind of, prods the needle at Shanahan about blowing the Falcons Super Bowl. And because of that, Shanahan doesn't want Brady, and Brady thinks Shanahan's insecure.
But to me, that's different because that's Tom Brady not wanting to involve himself with a coach that he thinks is, and I'm using this word myself, but spineless, if we can say that. That's different. Not going to San Francisco or making a career move to San Francisco because you don't like the coach is different than a coach and a general manager not wanting to improve their franchise by finding a better quarterback. That's different.
Why won't the Dallas Cowboys get a better coach?
I mean, I never said that Jerry Jones had a small ego. I never said that Jerry Jones didn't let his ego get in the way of things. But if we're going to start comparing Jerry Jones and John Robinson, then I think we have a much bigger problem on our hands.
Yeah, Jerry drafts better. You got to give Jerry his due. Jerry found the franchise quarterback in the first round.
So the Titans would be better off with Jerry Jones?
If they had Vrabel as coach.
Stop it right now.
Vrabel, you can say whatever you want. Jerry made the best, and I don't know who actually calls the shots in Dallas because we know it ain't Jerry is not the one who found Micah Parsons. But Jerry made the best pick of the draft last year. You got to give Jerry his due.
I mean, yeah, that was a good pick.
You got to give Jerry his due. He's made a lot of good picks.
So that take was bad. But also, Joe closing his mind off to the fact that Tom Brady might return is also not fair. I mean, his entire press conference was just like, hey, you know what? This is the career door. I'm going to leave it open because it's not completely closed yet.
And Jim Gray doesn't ask that question, even though they're now my coworkers. Mm-hmm. You know that Jim Gray does not ask that question without Brady telling him to ask that question.
Probably so. Your close personal friends, Jim Gray and Tom Brady.
No, we're just coworkers.
You both had some doozies today.
No, you can't put that on. There's doozy, come on, doozy with a hashtag.
But yours was more of a doozy,
trademark.
I do have to say. This is a doozy that has bled in from yesterday to today, so I think Joe is the winner. But Joe, we do have a texter who texted in and said that you deserve to lose because of your internet connection.
Yeah, I don't. Come on, Joe. Cricket internet.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know it was bad. I'm sorry.
Joe Rex Road.
Move it next time.
Jared versus Joe, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Get out of here, Joe. We'll get your thoughts. Get them in now. 615-737-1025. And what Jimmy Johnson said that I do think applies to the Titans next. Stillman and Company, TSP, 1025 game.
This is Colton Sissons, and this is Smashville.
Feeds now. Sissons coming on from the left circle, and Colton Sissons puts it in the net.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
9-Inch Nails. Live in concert. May 1st, First Bank Amphitheater. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. More information at min.com.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. The NFL season all comes down to this: Super Bowl 56 with the Rams and the Bengals. To celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up all customers with a risk-free same-game parlay. New and existing customers can place any same-game parlay on 3 legs or more on the Super Bowl. And if you don't win, FanDuel will refund you. Same-game parlays combine multiple bets from the same game into one wager for bigger payouts. Build your parlay with the spreads, money lines, totals, Super Bowl props, and more. You got to go with Odell Beckham as an anytime touchdown scorer, Van Jefferson over total yards, and Joe Burrow over passing yards. Already have an account? Just place your risk-free same-game parlay before the Super Bowl to qualify. New customers can join today with promo code JGM to get 56-1 odds on either team to win the Super Bowl, so you can turn a $5 bet into $280 cash. Promo code JGM. 21 and older in present Tennessee. Refund issues and all withdrawable site credit expires in 7 days. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-89-979.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe here for Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. It's dentistry that can change your life, and I know the dentist can be scary sometimes, but they treat you like family. That's what's important. They do more than just dental work. They quiet your snoring, which I need a ton of help with, heal cold sores, and give you a beautiful smile. No dental insurance? No problem. Just join their membership club. Visit kellerice.com or call 615-373-4488 now to schedule your cleaning and checkup.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I'm excited to tell you about our friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and their heating and air stimulus plan. If your AC or heating unit is old and inefficient, then you need to take advantage of their special offer right now. They will double your tax refund up to $1,000. Huge savings with Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Get a York unit that lasts with a 10-year parts and labor warranty with up to 60 months, no interest financing on all York units. Restrictions do apply. Schedule now at springhillac.com. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York-certified comfort expert company.
Thursday night.
Alley-oop, slam down, Leonard.
The MTSU Blue Raiders continue their homestand in the Glass House against Old Dominion. Coverage begins at 5:30
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, Trey Wingo here. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The Titans say that he's still their quarterback. Your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill and the Titans?
Well, I don't want to – I'm not here. I didn't call in to brag or do anything like that. Or nothing even close. I just simply called in because I told you so. You didn't want to listen. How could he be 8 of 8 out of the playoffs? And I said he's a good quarterback, but when you look at the other 7 guys in front of him, I would, in these situations, I would take him. Now, here's what I would say. I have a lot of respect for Mike Vrabel, both as a player and as a coach. I think he's a dynamic coach. But he made some mistakes in that Cincinnati game, having to force Tannehill in the situations that got him in trouble when they elected to go for things and instead of playing it a certain way, taking the points, things of that nature. So a little bit of that loss in Cincinnati goes on Vrabel as well. Now, as far as Tannehill goes, if you can upgrade, then you upgrade. Aaron Rodgers is an upgrade. You reported he bought land.
Yep.
I mentioned and reported, without a report, that the Tennessee Titans, as soon as they lost, and then Green Bay lost, the first thing I said is he needs to go his butt to Tennessee.
There you go. That was Keyshawn earlier today. I told you so on Ryan Tannehill. And yet the Titans, they will not do anything about it. And so as we continue our ego discussion from the past.
Egogate.
I do want – Jimmy Johnson was on the herd with Colin Cowherd. And if there's anybody who knows anything about Jerry's ego, it's Jimmy. And Jimmy was asked about Mike McCarthy in Dallas. And I was actually stunned. Jimmy said this. Here's what Jimmy Johnson said on why Jerry Jones won't get rid of Mike McCarthy.
Jerry, he doesn't ever want to admit that he's wrong, and so he's going to hang with whoever, Jason Garrett or whoever, and try to make it work. And, I think he really values the talent on that team such that he feels like McCarthy can be successful and he can improve, especially with Dan Quinn and with Kellen Moore, with the assistants that he's got.
Okay, now take out McCarthy and replace it with Tannehill.
Okay.
Robinson and Vrabel, and specifically Robinson here. The Tannehill thing I think this is more of Robinson.
Right.
Robinson doesn't want to admit he's wrong. He can't admit he's wrong. So he thinks that with the talent that he's got around Tannehill, he can win. And he's bringing in these other coaches to work. Timmy Kelly, he thinks, can come in here and help him.
But do you think that Tim Kelly was a John Robinson move?
No, I think it was a Vrabel move.
Yeah.
So I think combine them both. Fine. It's the same thing. Ryan Tannehill is the Mike McCarthy of quarterbacking without the Super Bowl.
But and I'm not calling for anyone's job here, but I'm saying if you can't.
We welcome it on the show sometimes.
Except
not John Robinson. Don't say that about John Robinson.
I'm not.
We do not say that on this show about John Robinson.
I'm not. But if you can't accept that you're wrong and you can't put a mistake behind you and say we made the right decision at the time, but right now where it stands, this isn't the best move for our franchise. If you can't step back and evaluate some of the decisions that you made, then do you deserve to have your job? To keep your job?
Well, he just got a contract extension, so I guess the owner thinks yes.
Well, I'm not saying what the owner thinks or doesn't think. Do you think that you deserve to keep your job if you can't step back and acknowledge the mistakes that you made and you could potentially have a way to fix that mistake sitting in your lap, but you don't take it?
All I think is this. Every football guy I've ever been around talks about getting fired in the future. With this, if we don't win, we're going to get fired. If we screw up, we're going to get fired. If we do this, we're going to get fired. And then when things like that happen, all they ever do is tell you, well, the reason I got fired was because, it's not really my fault.
Well, of course they say that.
I know. But my point is that they go into it saying that if we do this and we screw this up, we're going to get fired. And then when it comes time to getting fired for making that mistake, they always tell you how it's not their fault that mistake was made, and that's why they should be fired.
But I don't think that's the way that John Robinson is approaching this Tannehill thing. Maybe he is, but I don't think so.
I think he's convinced in his head that Tannehill can work here.
Yeah.
Which
I don't think he's going into it saying, if this doesn't work, I get fired.
And I'm convinced. Well, don't you have to?
With Tannehill?
You give a $100 million quarterback, $100 million contract to a quarterback. Don't you have to know that if it blows up in your face, you're probably getting fired?
I don't think he thought that it would blow up in his face.
Well, of course not. But I think when you make moves, you have to think of what if this doesn't work.
It's in the back of your mind. Yeah, of course.
Then again, this is my whole thing with prenups. I think everybody should get a prenup. Everybody who gets married, listen to me right now. Get a prenuptial agreement. But tell you why. Because some people will say, well, a prenuptial agreement, that means that you're already planning for our marriage not to work, right?
Yes.
When you get car insurance, are you planning for your car, for you to get in a car accident?
Well, you legally cannot drive without car insurance.
And why do they make you do that? Because some people have egos that make them think that, they think, hey, I'm such a good driver, I don't need to pay this premium every month. I'm a good enough driver, I don't need to do this. But the government is like, no, too many people overestimate their driving skills and get in car accidents, so everybody has to have car insurance. Even though there's no guarantee you get in a wreck for car insurance. And that's why I think everybody should have a prenup. Because then you know that, hey, if we get divorced, this is what's happening. It's, you get this, you get that. Okay, fine, whatever, that, ready, break. And it's not contentious, and it's not yelling and screaming. And I think if you're smart, and I think Robinson and Vrabel are smart, I think if you're smart, if you take a really big risk on something and it doesn't work, it is your ass on the line. And I think they know that. Jerry, it's not, because he owns the team, which is different.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they knew when they made the investment in Tannehill, I think in the back of their mind there was, what if this guy turns into a pumpkin? Then what?
It has to be in the back of your mind. And at some point, when does it stop becoming ego, and when does it start becoming just idiotic?
How do I fix the football team?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that for me, the Cincinnati game was as Joe called it, the line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need another Cincinnati game, and then it'll be like, okay, yeah, now we got to.
But when is it going to be, another one?
No, I agree.
Because what is the mark? How many times does he have to blow a game?
I agree. For Andy Reid, it was a Pittsburgh loss in the divisional round of the playoffs, and Patrick Mahomes was in the next year as the backup. And then he was in as a starter the next year after Alex Smith blew the next game. 615-737-1025. We'll hit some of your phones. That's coming up. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
from the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. Forecast looking good going into tonight. Not terribly cold. Low temperatures in the middle 30s and mainly clear. We stay clear with a limited sunshine for your Thursday, and high temperatures climbing into the upper 50s near 60 degrees. We'll stay warm for Friday as well.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it, but in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving. Phone line driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. What do we have in the text line, Caroline?
One texter texts in and says, as a Cowboy fan, Jerry does make the draft decision. Stephen Jones had to talk him out of drafting Johnny Manziel. Micah Parsons fell in their laps because they wanted a shutdown corner in Patrick Surtain, but the Broncos picked him before them. Then they swapped with the Eagles to pick 10th. The Eagles took Devontae Smith. Yes, it's Jerry, and wish we had John Robinson.
I'm going to say this. I don't care how you got Micah Parsons. You got Micah Parsons. Like, I don't, the idea of, we didn't know this and we got lucky that, you got lucky that you got Micah Parsons and that he might be the next Lawrence Taylor. And John Robinson has not drafted the next Lawrence Taylor. I would like the next Lawrence Taylor. And it might be Micah Parsons. Like, Micah Parsons is that good.
He's good.
But again, like, I'm not here to sit here and pick about John Robinson and Jerry Jones, like the difference between their drafting.
I'm not going to compare their resumes.
I don't know why. Like, off the top of my head, I think Jerry is by far a much better drafter than John Robinson, but I still rather have John Robinson draft for my team than Jerry Jones.
Why?
Because I think Jerry's a fool.
Just the principle of it all?
I think Jerry's an old coot. I mean, like,
he is.
Like, so I don't,
He's
you know.
old and crazy. I want him.
I just wish, that John would take the giant chaw of skull out of his mouth when they show him on TV at the draft. That's all I ask.
I mean, not a bad request. Another texter texts in and is vehemently defending Kyle Shanahan. Says Kyle Shanahan went into Green Bay and made the best quarterback in the game look silly. He did it without his quarterback ever throwing a touchdown. He is the most innovative coach in the game. There's no GM in the league who would take Vrabel over Shanahan.
Oh, so that's from like the beginning of the show.
Yeah, he just sent it in.
I'm not Shanahan. Nah. I mean, Shanahan screws up more into the game. There is not a coach in recent memory that has blown more into the games than Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion. We talked at length about how he blew that game against the Cowboys in the playoffs, but they got lucky because Dallas blew it more. But, I mean, he blew the Super Bowl against the Patriots. He blew the Super Bowl against the Chiefs when they had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. And he blew this game, and he and Jimmy just playing, especially Jimmy. But, I mean, again, I cannot handle, and this is talking about Vrabel and Shanahan, and I still think Vrabel's a better coach than Shanahan. This is, to me, like, I struggle with the whole Shanahan thing because the idea that he could go up to Tom Brady and be like, hey, Tom, here's what we want you to do with the game on the line, and not just kind of like, if you got Tom Brady as your quarterback, you're going to have to live and die by Tom. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have to let Tom make the decisions. But that's the deal that you sign when you have Tom Brady. That's all I got that way. Time now for Predators game day.
It's Hockey Night in Smashville.
Deflects back for Duchesne. His shot stopped, and the score!
What are the keys to victory tonight? What's being said in the locker room? Where do the Preds reside in the Central Division standings? Jared Stillman has the latest now. With Preds Game Day on Stillman and Company. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. This is Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I have to have a talk with the Predators on this one. The little sheet that they send us in the email that's all colorful and has all that.
It's all nice.
We didn't get one today.
Are they slacking?
No, we got like the boring, not with the little notes and stuff on it.
They're too busy living it up in Dallas to make our sheets look pretty.
No, they just didn't do it. I'm thrown off by it. We have to have a conversation with Katie over there. I'm not sure I've ever had a conversation with Katie over there.
Well, now is a great time to start.
I don't even honestly, whatever. But come on. Where's my sheet? So I got these other sheets. Tonight against the Dallas Stars, the Predators are 28-14-4. The Stars 23-18-2. And I am very excited. This is the first game, Ian, correct me if I'm wrong, in Predators history on TNT, right?
I believe that is correct.
I mean, I got to tell you, I'm pumped. Because I don't have to use the Bally Sports app that half the time doesn't work.
Yeah, you
so
hate
I
that.
can't watch the hockey game when it doesn't work, and I can't watch John Morant in the basketball game when it doesn't work. So I don't have to worry about that today. I'll YouTube TV, be able to watch TNT. Predators, Dallas Stars tonight. We start with the coach's take. John Hines on the importance of being ready at the jump.
It's important for us to make sure that we're ready to go right from the drop of the puck from a competitive standpoint and be able to get to the game that gives us the best chance to be able to win and mentally ready to play. We've had a couple good skates here, and we certainly respect Dallas. We know it's going to be a hard-fought game, not a lot of time and space. So I think just understanding and knowing the style and type of game that it's going to be and making sure that we're mentally ready and physically ready to be at our best here.
There you go. I think it's a good idea to be ready for the game. May want to pass that along to Ryan Tannehill in the future, just to have that out there. The Predators are in second place right now in the NHL's Central Division. The Colorado Avalanche, 68 points. They're in first place. They look like the class of the division and of the conference. The Predators second with 60. Minnesota with 4 games in hand at 59. St. Louis with 2 games in hand at 57. The Predators are technically in third place in the Central Division. And again, we're not rooting for the Predators to lose. But it would be nice if the Predators finish fourth and not third because third would require them to play the Central Division teams in the playoffs. Fourth would allow them to play Vegas and the Kings and the Ducks and all those teams that, quite frankly, probably aren't very good.
Woo, go Ducks.
But tonight, the first ever Predators game on TNT. If only they could have, Kenny and Chuck and Shaq.
The whole
and
TNT
Ernie.
NBA crew.
Yeah, I mean,
I would love to hear those four talk about hockey.
I do not watch the hockey crew on TNT. I think Gretzky's on it. I don't really watch it.
Yeah.
But is he on it tonight? Do we know?
I do not know that for sure, but Paul Biznasty is on there and Anson Carter. They're fun.
That's next. Darren's got the pregame.